And what is up, everyone? We're live here at Wednesday Night Modern here at MTGCardmarket as Eric adjusts the camera so he's actually in the shot. We've got a lovely tournament here this evening. We're going to start you off with some little Elves action going on. We don't know what the opponent is of the Elves player yet, but Eric really likes Elves, and
it's an enjoyable deck.
It's an enjoyable deck, and he thinks that it might be something that's pretty well positioned in Modern right now, which is really relevant because we're going to have the Star City Games open this weekend in Milwaukee, which I think both of us will be attending. So why don't you talk about that a little bit? What sort of decks do you expect to see?
I imagine the meta is going to be a lot of either how slow you can go or how fast you can go, because mid-range is basically getting pushed out of the format right now. So at this point you have to decide, do you want to try to go slow and stabilize running Thopter Foundry, Thopter Sword combo, and Sussor Visions, or do you want to try going fast and going above that? For example, like you have Coco, the full combo Coco version, you have Elves, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have that on, because I feel like that's a pretty good contender, because if someone's suspending in Sussor Visions on turn 1 instead of bolting your Llanowar Elf, you're getting pretty good value out of that. So like there's going to be a lot of race decks. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot less Jund than we've seen in a lot of large Modern tournaments before the unbanning, just because it's been a recent trend. There's not as much Jund. There's also not as much Affinity, because it's getting a lot of splash hate. Everyone's scared of the splash hate from Thopter Sword, so we could see a little bit of jump in that, so I'd still be a little worried about that, because if people are noticing, hey, no one's prepared for it because it hasn't been played, suddenly all the Affinity players come out.
So I want to jump in a little bit, because one of the things I did notice when looking over the metagame of the sort of Jeff Hoogland, who's a writer for MTGCardmarket, recently just wrote an article about sort of the modern metagame breakdown of both of the recent classics that we've had since the unbanning, as well as the decks that went X1 or better in Modern at the Invitational.
Lots of Coco.
There was a lot of Coco. Coco is by far the most played deck in the format, but we are also seeing sort of like the resurgence of decks like Jund. We're seeing the resurgence of, sort of shockingly to me, Scapeshift.
Yes.
And so it's sort of interesting because the metagame I don't think has fully adjusted to the Thopter Sword. So we're sort of like in this holding pattern. And as I hate the lime green, as Nope says in the chat, aside from Jerry Thompson with that Gips deck, we haven't seen a whole bunch of Thopter Swords decks putting up huge results.
Thopter Sword gets wrecked by Infect.
But it does get wrecked by Infect.
And like that was what you noticed on the first tournament. Like a lot of these tournaments have a bunch of Infect players in the top, because like probably one of the fastest linear strategies right now is Infect. So like if you're not playing Infect, you should definitely be prepared for it. It's also like one of the most straightforward decks to play. So anyone who lost their deck and wants to play another very aggressive fast deck, it's a really good one to transition to.
You get away with saying that because you're an Infect player. I actually think Infect is pretty difficult to play. Like I think it's like pretty easy to play at 80%, but there's a lot of very small things, right?
So
that you have to do. Like,
there's a lot of very small things, but compared to it has a lot. In my opinion, it has a lot less lines than some of the other Modern decks in the format right now.
I mean, sure.
So like, it's definitely still a hard deck to play because you're playing Modern, and no matter what deck you play in Modern, there's a lot of choices. Like even if you're playing, not to offend any red players, but like if you're playing the 8-whack, like 8 Bushwhacker deck in Goblins, it's a fast deck. It's not a super complicated deck to play, but there's still a lot of choices where it's like, what 1-drop do you play turn 1? Do you want to play your Legion Loyalist to get in damage? Do you want to play the 1/1 to like so you can pump it the next turn and get in for more Foundry Street Denizen? Or do you want to just play your the Fnatic, Mog Fnatic, in case they play Birds of Paradise, you can bolt it depending on what you think your opponent's on. So like even straightforward red decks, there's still super complicated lines to play.
Sure. So this is like one of those things that in Magic in general, people sort of hate maybe might be the wrong word, but people definitely do have sort of this pejorative thought about like the linear aggressive decks, which I think are actually like Burn. I think is actually has like some very super complicated lines. Compare that to a deck like Jund, for instance, where you're basically I'm playing my discard spell, then I'm killing your creature, then I'm playing a Tarmogoyf, right? Which one is actually more difficult to play?
But there's still a lot for like discarding. So like when you have to discard something, suddenly you have to take into account like what else is in their deck, what do you not want to see top decked, what do they have. So like even like there's like entire like I've seen entire articles written about like what you take with a turn 1 Thoughtseize and should you Thoughtseize turn 1.
Yeah.
And like especially from like, yes, I'm a terrible person, but from playing Lantern Control, there's a lot to deal with where it's like, hey, do I want him to draw this card? What else can he draw? Especially before you have the lock of like, oh, I don't have an Ensnaring Bridge yet. what creatures can I let him draw that won't kill me if I draw an Ensnaring Bridge in 3 turns or 4 turns?
Oh, okay, but the lines of a deck like Lantern Control.
Well, that's also like ridiculously
are
like
a
puzzle.
lot more complicated than the lines of Jund, which is like your lines are I Thoughtseize your thing, then I either play a creature or a removal spell next turn, depending on what I see.
Yeah, but like there's still a lot of choices with like that because like knowing when to turn 1 Thoughtseize or like if they play like Celestial Colony turn 1, do you turn 1 Thoughtseize or do you just turn 1 do something else? And like if you're telling everyone like or a lot of people I know have done the thing where it's like all right they play Celestial Colony, let's make sure they don't have a turn 2 counterspell, turn 1 Thoughtseize, but that's not always the best option to do.
Well, so the thing is that like you just don't want like Thoughtseize in that matchup is like pretty poor, right? They have like
it's not bad. It takes depending on what version they're playing. Like
sure.
you can take their Cryptic and take their gifts if they're Jerry Thompson.
It's true.
So why is Killing Fiend up?
I Kill Fiend is like near and dear to my heart. It looks like we're shuffling up. Did we not get okay, 2 things here. First of all, we didn't get.
Can we get match slips?
Pairings. Also, that I'm gonna fix the play area because it's a little bit.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of technical difficulties, but so yeah, the modern format is in a huge state of flux. I think, in my opinion, that's one of the reasons. Like, I was going based off the first tournament because I haven't paid attention to the most recent Star City events. So like, clearly, that's changed since then. But like, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of Coco because Coco can play games versus or like Court of Calling decks because they can play games versus either thing. They can go super fast or super slow. I know right now we're going to be seeing Elves versus something. The Elves player is on the left, so let me get some of this in. I don't know how to spell his full name, so I'm just going to start this a little bit. But we're going to be seeing Elves versus something, which is one type of a Court of Calling deck. And kind of fixing it. We just need to move the playmat over. Alright, we'll see. Apologies for doing this a little late. Right, you should just slide the playmat away from.
Slide the playmat. The playmat is on the table.
Wait, can't you literally just move this up?
This is fine. Everything's on the play area.
Oh, okay.
Who did you say we had round 1?
Let me see if I can find him on here. Mark Masellis versus Matt Seckel. Masellis.
Masellis. And he is, like we said, on Elves.
Yes.
And the player on the right
is Matt Seckel. Oh, Sydney's here. I didn't see him yet.
Sydney is here.
I need to yell at him.
Seckel. Okay, like that.
SECKL. Do you know what deck Matt's on?
I don't. Matt, I believe, sometimes plays Blue Tron.
Yeah, he likes to change up what he's doing a lot.
We're going to start the clock for this round.
Oh, we're doing it for once.
Well, we all get better in our lives. Tron, yeah, he does typically play Tron.
Let's see if he's on it. I kind of hope he is.
We got a mulligan from Mark. And
he plays blue-white Tron, so I wonder if he just jammed the Thopter Sword in there.
All right, we've got a turn 1 Heritage Druid for Mark. He's going to pass it right back to Matt. He's going to draw his card for the turn. I do see... Is that a Seachrome Coast and a pass back?
What else is in his hand? This is a Day of Judgment? Day of Judgment was the only card I caught.
Double Thicket for Mark. Just going to get in there for 1.
Get the beats in while he can. So he now does not have a way to generate 3 mana. Because if he had the 2/2 that made another elf token.
Well, the turn 2 no play is pretty surprising from the elf deck.
Yeah, that means he probably has a lot of 3s.
All right. So yes, indeed, Tron for Matt. We're going to get that up on the stream for you.
And he definitely has a Day of Judgment that can come down next turn. So Mark has to worry about overascending if he's expecting it.
All right. Beat's going to get you. 18 for Matt. It did look like Mark mulliganed, and this hand is like pretty poor.
Yeah. Although the question is, if you're Matt, how fast do you play the Day of Judgment?
Well, it's not very enticing to play it on just the board of 2 elves.
He also has a path. So he doesn't have to be that worried right now.
I feel like this is a matchup that
Was he just jamming it?
he's just jamming the Day of Judgment. I guess that's fine. Like, I don't know if I would have done there, because I think if Mark had scarier things to do, he would have done them. Is that a Nyx, though, Shrine of Nyx? And this is exactly the reason, because you could get that Elvish Archdruid, which he just played.
But he does at least have a path. So
That's true.
But the fact that Mark didn't have a turn 2 play, it means you can pretty much just 1-for-1 him out. Whereas, like, if he... Oh, is that... That's 2...
No, that's not... It's not Tron.
No, that's not Tron, but is it 3 of the same?
No, it's 2 mine...
2 and 1.
It's 2 Power Plant, 1 mine.
Oh, and he has a Thought Seer.
He's got double Chord and another Archdruid in hand for the Thought-Knot Seer.
I think you just take the other Archdruid. Or do you take the
I mean, this is a pretty miserable hand to have to take a card from. I mean, you're happy to...
you're happy to take one.
Here's the thing is, like, Chord is not doing anything for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
He does take the Chord. I guess you can... Oh, nope, one of those is in play. We're going to pass it right back Mark's way. Mark's going to... Looks like we might have a path on the upkeep. Yep. Path to Exile.
One there?
No, you don't. I don't think you do. Because I think you want to just
play
the second
play other Archdruid, yeah.
And once again, folks in the chat, in case you don't know, the reason to do that on the upkeep is that Mark's land will come into play tapped, and he will not be able to use it for mana this turn. Meanwhile, there's a small edge for doing it before the draw step, because Mark won't have a card which could potentially answer the path. It's less relevant here in the green-white deck, but we do see that land coming to play tapped, as Mark will draw his card for the turn.
Yeah. Mark is just... Because of the Thought-Knot Seer, Mark's just super behind, because he needs a lot to be able to start, like, contending with a Thought-Knot Seer.
Well, Mark was... Like, it was any payoff card, right? Because Mark was just... His hand was not what you're looking for. Like, turn 1, Heritage Druid, turn 2, Pass, turn 3, Elvish Mystic is not what this deck is trying to do.
Though if he draws a Coco, he's still not that bad.
That's true, because one of the things the deck can do is just sort of go off from anywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Because, like, if he can Coco into even the guy that produces another token and just tap himself as Archdruid for 4...
Dwine and Elite.
Dwine and Elite. Yeah, you can just do a lot there. Thought-Knot Seer getting in there for 4. Apparently we are not past Eldrazi yet.
This is...
Thought-Knot Seer number 2.
This is much more reasonable. This is just much more reasonable. And there is one of the cards that make the deck... worth playing is that Azuri right there. That's one of the finishers. It's not so good right now on this board. I still think you might just take it.
You definitely just take it.
You're certainly much more scared of that card than any 2-drop that Mark can Chord for.
It also means he can at least chump one of the Thoughtseers for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because he can swing and then tap it for mana and then regenerate. So, like, that's definitely very relevant to take.
All right, we've got the Nettle Sentinel. That's one of the cards that allows Mark to go off making mana with
Heritage so he can Druid. Now Chord for 3.
3, 4, 5. He can Chord for 2.
He can Chord for 3 because he taps the Heritage Druid for 2 mana.
He doesn't have a Heritage Druid.
Or the Elvish Archdruid. Yeah. He taps the Archdruid for 2 mana.
All right, we're going to pass about Mac's way. Matt, not Max. Matt, looks like that is Tron.
That's pretty scary.
So the white decks don't play the things you typically see, except, Ugin's
just game.
That's going to be game.
Ugin means Marks never has a board.
Like I said, I think that game... We're going to update your match totals there. I think that game was over...
You put one on the wrong side.
Oh, I did. You're right. Good catch. I think that game was over at the point where Mark just didn't have anything going on.
Yeah, if you pass your turn 2 play on L's without doing anything, that's really, really bad.
Like, this is a matchup that Mark can very easily win, but he needs to pressure Matt.
Yeah, like, if you just get... Like, that clearly was not a very explosive start from Elves, and, like, if you can go, like, turn 1 into... Turn 1 Mana Dork into turn 2 more stuff, and just go, you can beat Tron before they even have a chance to cast a Wrath.
So I see Matt has... Looks like maybe... Just 2 cards coming in. Matt, I saw... I know for a fact that he has got a Kataki in his sideboard because he traded for mine.
I'm thinking maybe if he's running for X and Revoker, I'd have to imagine that comes in this matchup.
Looks like a Leyline? Was that? That can't
be.
He
did say he was looking for Ley Lines.
Is Leyline good in this matchup? I guess it answers Mindslaver.
It answers Mindslaver and answers
And
Gifts
Thought Not
Ungiven
Seer?
and Thought Not Seer. Because Gifts Ungiven, you have
Gifts
to target an
Ungiven,
opponent.
you have to target an opponent. It's true. He doesn't know for a fact that Matt is on Gifts, although it's pretty safe to assume.
If you see blue, white, and Tron lands,
He didn't see black, to be fair, which is
Yeah.
usually the package you see in Tron. But I think if I see blue and Tron pieces, I'm putting
yeah.
one Gifts on.
Also, he saw Day of Judgment, and you really would
don't.
only want Day of Judgment if it's part of a Gifts package.
That's a good point.
So, like, I think from that alone, you just by seeing by seeing Day of Judgment, you're pretty sure he's on Gifts Ungiven.
There's also the fact that Elves is one of those decks where you are, I mean, you're a creature deck, but very much you are a linear, sort of almost combo strategy. You're trying to win with Azuri Pumps. You're trying to win with Craterhoof Behemoth. So those kinds of decks, they don't have a lot of wiggle room to sideboard like a deck like Jund, say, would have room to sideboard.
I know Mark was trying to debate on finding a third. A third was one of the cards he was considering running. A third Leyline of Sanctity, which is the reason why I know it's a Leyline of Sanctity.
Looks like the Kataki is coming. Oh, no, that's not Kataki. Is that Kataki you just brought in?
I couldn't catch it quick enough.
I didn't. It might have been. Kataki's interesting in this matchup, especially if you think that Matt has Thopter Sword in his deck.
Yeah. It makes, but like even just paying 1 mana to gain a life versus elves is pretty relevant, unless they just do 40.
No, it's
well,
not.
It depends on the beatdown.
That deck doesn't win in chunks of 1. The deck wins in chunks of 20.
Yeah, but like
if Mark is winning, it's because Mark's swinging for 67 damage.
Well, I'm more saying because like Matt has a bunch of 1-for-1 removal, so if he can keep the Inzuri off the board,
that's fair. Looks like
and then he's able to just gain life slowly. It helps him stabilize.
We've got our openers here. I would assume that Mark will be on the play because he's played Magic before, presumably.
Yeah, I still don't think there's really an elf modern deck that wants to be on the draw, unless you're trying to do some shenanigans with Gemstone Caverns.
Yeah, I mean Gemstone Caverns is one of those sweet cards.
This time Matt mulliganing.
We're gonna mulligan down to 6. It's Matt's turn to not have the ideal opener.
So I wonder what Matt's board is. I know Blue White Tron used to run Ghostly Prison. I don't know if it does anymore though.
It's interesting. Because Gifts decks often run a lot of those Silver Bullet type cards in their main.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting. You would think that Matt's sideboard would be mostly like very narrow answers.
Yeah.
That are very powerful, right?
Probably if he's not running Iona in the main, Iona in the board. So if he can get an early Iona before Mark stabilizes, it's pretty good. It might not be the fastest though.
I saw Gifts, I saw Colonnade, and I saw a Tron piece, I think. Oh no, that's a Flooded Strand. Looks like we are going to be keeping for Matt. Matt's going to scry to the bottom. And we're underway.
Yeah, that is the one bad part about the Blue White Tron, is you just have so many 4-drops that become super clunky.
Heath Crack. We're going to go down to 19 for Mark. And of course, Matt is not starting on 18. He's going to start at 20.
The game one advantage. The game one disadvantage.
Yep. And this is... We'll see. Like, the Elvish Mystic is a very reasonable turn 1 play for Mark. Let's see if he's got a better follow-up than Land Go. And he does. He's going to crack. He's going to crack his Windswept Heath. I imagine we're going to shock here down to 16.
Depends if he brought in any irrelevant white spells.
Nope. It looks like we're just gonna get the planes. That's sort of interesting. Do you think it's right to like aggressively? Because Tron's not a deck where it's pressuring your life total very much. It's probably safe to get at least the first duel. Oh, we're just gonna swing for 1. Play a Llanowar Elf and pass. Again, not a great start.
I wonder if he's holding up if the white was for path. If he has paths in his board.
Why would you hold up Path to Exile against Tron's turn 2?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why he would get
and
the
you
planes.
You wouldn't crack. Yeah, because why would you crack there? It's interesting because you wouldn't crack there unless you were using the mana. Oh, he's just not gonna. Yeah, I don't understand that fetch land play there.
It might have been just going faster than looking at his hand and going, "Oh, I guess that should have been a green source."
Yeah, he's got
he's
got triple chord Coco in hand.
No, I thought one of those was Inzuri.
Okay, it might be. He's got at least double chord Coco in hand.
Yeah, and now he's holding up Coco.
Yep, Elf Beat's gonna get in there.
And if Matt does anything, I have to imagine you just go jam the Coco while he doesn't have full mana. Or do you even do it when he cracks his land so he only has 1 mana open?
It's something to consider, right? So Matt's going to crack here, and I think that Mark might... No, he's not going to. But I think that's a reasonable thing to think about, and I think it's one of those things that players often don't do as much as they should, is things in response to fetch lands.
Yeah.
Because Matt cracking down to 1 mana here... Oh, it looks like maybe he wanted to do something in response to the crack. They're having some sort of discussion here, so we might... Perhaps Mark is unsure if he can still do something at his end of turn. But it looks like they're talking to... if they haven't called a judge yet, they probably soon will.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to... I don't know what they're trying to figure out.
It's possible that Mark did want to respond to the fetch land crack, and maybe he said okay too soon without thinking of it.
Yeah, but he still has a chance to respond before the turn is done. Yeah.
Right.
So he's just now saying, okay, this land entered tapped. I'm just going to still do this end of turn before passing.
And Collected Company is going to resolve. We're going to look at the top 6 cards. We're going to put 2 creatures costing 3 or less.
I believe I see an Archdruid.
That's and a Llanowar Elves looks like the call.
No,
Heritage Druid and Llanowar Elves is what's coming.
Okay, so maybe I didn't see an Archdruid then.
Yeah, I think you would just get the Archdruid. Archdruid.
I think that art of Llanowar Elves is...
It's embarrassing.
Well, I was going to say that.
Oh.
But I was going to say I think that tripped me up. Because I'm used to, like, super old Llanowar Elf.
No, it's Llanowar Elves. My favorite
Llanowar
is
Elf.
Where's the 7th edition? Which one's the 7th edition one?
Isn't that the super ugly one?
No, that's the super ugly
No,
one.
that's not the super ugly one. There is an uglier version of it.
I like the one where he's, like, crouching in the forest. This one.
No, that's the ugly version.
This is my favorite Llanowar Elves, and you will hold your tongue.
Also known as the ugliest version.
Alright, we've got a Tron piece for Matt. Looks like he's thinking pretty hard about this. I just did the thing where you lean over to try to get a better look of the cards in his hand. It doesn't work, folks.
No, it doesn't work, but we do that quite often.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
So
Looks like we just passed the turn back to Mark. Mark's looks like he's going to get in there for 1.
This is going to be really bad into a Wrath.
Well, Mark does have Chord, so he could, of course, Chord in response to the Wrath, you know.
Yeah.
As you do. I mean, end of turn...
He also would have to... I think it would be better just to float 3 mana and then Coco and try to Chord.
Like, is Matt just dead if he doesn't have the Wrath?
I would say so.
You can Chord for Azuri, right?
Yeah.
A Snapcaster Mage, end of turn, I assume.
Jump blockers?
Oh, no, he's in... so he's not gonna... We got mixed up with where we were in combat. Looks like we were just gonna get some good old Ambush Viper action here.
I think you're fine with that on Mark's side.
I would be pretty happy with that exchange.
Looks like he's debating.
We're gonna Chord in response. So Chord for 3 in response. I'm not sure. Like, I can't think of anything that would save his elf here. Maybe, is that Eternal Witness he's getting? Yeah.
Oh, just cycle the Chord?
I don't like that. Oh, get the
Coco.
I like
seems good.
I like the company back a lot better. But I think that Align was available to you.
I think he was doing it because Matt was tapped out.
Yeah, I suppose. The thing is, like, Matt's going to have to deal with your board here.
Yeah, but he also...
So Matt's going to be either tapped out or you can tap him out end of turn for going going for the Chord.
Oh, and he just passed.
He just passed.
So he
back.
didn't have the Wrath then.
If the Wrath that Matt has is Supreme Verdict, his mana is very awkward for that right now.
That's true. I didn't think this deck ran... I guess it can run Supreme Verdict,
It typically does run Supreme Verdict for its, like, Wrath package with the gifts. I don't know if Matt's particular list does.
That's just so hard to cast. But yeah, sometimes it is relevant versus counter decks.
Alright, Chord for presumably 3 here.
He's gonna see how many cores he can cycle.
No, he's gonna get him an Archdruid. An Archdruid of the Claw.
Swing for 2.
Looks like a swing for 2 indeed. We'll see.
Ambush
Matt has
Viper?
another Ambush Viper. Nope, he's just going to take 2.
Gifts
End of turn,
ungiven.
Gifts ungiven.
That's going to be for an Elish Norn and Barrow Rights.
Yep, that's pretty good against elves.
That's quite painful.
Now, it's worthwhile to note that Matt did, I believe, miss a land drop this game.
I don't think he did.
Oh, and he only needs 4 mana anyway. Looks like that's Iona. He's got Elish
Yeah,
Norn
no,
pulled to the
this is
front.
just Elish Norn and
This
Barrow
is certainly
Rights
not
and
an
get him.
It's curious that Iona's in his deck.
If you can turn 4, if you Wrath and then Iona,
I mean, I get it, but I feel like Elish Norn is probably just always better.
it is, but he saw Mark had white, so if Elish Norn gets pathed,
Yeah.
you have to still be able to do something.
What do you call Mindslaver?
Is Matt running Mindslaver though?
A lot of the decks have moved away from Mindslaver with Thopter Sword available to them.
Yeah. Well, it's also easier to run in Thopter Sword because you're still running Academy Ruins.
Right. The fact that he's running Ugin sort of suggests to me that he's not running Mindslaver.
That's fair.
Looks like we're just gonna go for. Oh, he must have the
He has to have
burial
it in
rights in
hand.
his hand. So he's just gonna put both the fatties in the yard, and Mark's gonna discard Fairy Macabre, and Matt's gonna be sad.
I guess that would explain the turn 2 fetch for the Godless Shrine.
Yep, because he needs black, and
Yep.
that's gonna.
And that's probably game.
That's probably gonna be game. Now it'll be a long, agonizing 4 points of attack at a time game.
Well, no, because next turn just reanimates the Iona.
Mark does have Path in his deck. I would imagine Mark still has Path in his deck. He also might have a card like Fiend Hunter.
It's possible.
I guess Fiend Hunter doesn't work.
He doesn't have the. I guess he could try to coke over. No, Fiend Hunter works because it's a 1/3.
Oh, it's a 1/3. That's correct. Yeah.
Banisher Priest wouldn't, but. Also, if Fiend Hunter died when it came into play, it would just be perma-exiled. Because of how Fiend Hunter's worded.
You're right.
That's
Looks
game.
like we're just
Yep.
going to concede. That's a little bit strange. That
He
implies
must
to
not
me that
actually be
perhaps
running the
Mark
paths.
doesn't have Path in his deck, or perhaps he boarded it out.
Yeah. That was a very fast matchup, and that's kind of one of the downsides of elves. Is if you shut them down by wrathing them or by Elish Norning them, they really have a hard time coming back once they expend their entire hand.
That's correct.
So-
I mean, Matt just has a lot of things that do that. He's got the Ugins. He's got
yeah.
the Elish Norns. He's got the Wrath effects.
Yeah, so this is kind of.
We see as an engineered explosives, which he can constantly recur with Academy Ruins.
So that was kind of textbook on what you do to slow down elves.
Yeah. And Mark's draw wasn't bad there.
No.
It wasn't bad there, but you need a better draw to beat
Yeah.
turn 5 Elish Norn.
I think not having one of the power two drops, or just like the effective 2 drops, like Elvish Visionary or playing 2's Melts, because he didn't use his mana effectively turn 2. He didn't have the opportunity to use his mana effectively turn 2 in either game.
Looks like he's having a little discussion about sideboards here. He's asking Matt what he thinks about certain cards. I don't like Canonist in this matchup.
And he didn't bring it into this matchup. I think he was just talking about it in general.
Right. He's also got. It looked like. I don't remember which card I saw now. So I'm gonna bring it back to the booth real quick, and we're gonna send Eric out into the world, see if we can get another match on camera for you. That is a 2-0 win for Matt Seckel with UW Tron over Mark Marcellus with Elves. And like we said, Elves is a deck that needs to win before Elish Norn happens, because once Elish Norn happens, well, just most of the cards in their deck don't do anything. And the concession there at the end sort of implies that there were not Path to Exiles in Mark's deck, which is one of the few things he can do to beat an Elish Norn. Another thing that we didn't discuss is because Matt hardcast the Unburial Rights, he also would next turn be able to reanimate Iona and name White, which would probably make even the decks with the Path in them to be drawing dead. Hopefully we can get another match on camera for you here, guys. If anyone in the chat wants to throw out suggestions about what they'd like to see, I know that Kiki Court is something that people typically want to see. I know that people like there's an unnatural love of Grixis in our chat room, which I can't stand that deck, but I'll do it for you guys. Worth noting, SCG Milwaukee is this weekend. I will be sleeving up Kiki Cord because I made a promise when Eldrazi Winter was going on that I would not be playing that deck until I could take Big Game Hunter out of it. I have now successfully removed Big Game Hunter from the deck, and it's been sweet. In fact, I don't know if we've got an Infect player in the room, but we can certainly check. Infect is a good deck to put on stream towards the end of the round when we've got like 5 minutes left. Although most of those decks are just like American Control with just the Kiki Jiki kill. I don't think I've seen one of those in the room. But yeah, so I'll be playing at SCG Milwaukee this weekend, hoping to have some fun, hoping to make a lot of angel tokens, hoping to attack for lethal. Yeah, Elishanorn's not great for you.
How you lose.
Getting your board
Yeah.
destroyed and kept down.
As soon as you went for gifts, I was like, oh, that's good.
Do we have another match coming up on
Yeah,
camera?
we have Carter. Let's see if I can find him on here. Carter Petre versus Nicholas Peros. So it is.
So Nick is on the right.
Yeah, it's Inferno Shift versus Merfolk.
All right.
And it's primetime Scape Shift.
Yeah.
He's just running Inferno Titan.
So it's just red
Goes
green. It's just red
Red green,
green.
yeah.
Not the Bring to Light version or anything like
No,
that.
it looked like it was just red green. I didn't see any blue from what was on the board state when I walked past. Guys hovered for 30 seconds because he was getting Inferno Titan swung for 13.
Okay. That card's like so. It's 0-1 to.
It's 1-1. They're on
It's
match
1-1
3.
when they're going to 3. Okay.
Yeah, red green Scape Shift versus Merfolk is just like who wins faster.
So we've got Merfolk on the left, piloted by Nick Paris.
Yeah. I wonder if Paul's on stream right now. Paul Green hates Nick's deck because he just
Nick Paris
one of each basic.
of the multiple basic land, one of each basic land fame. Do you want to go close the door?
Yes.
Someone left it ajar. And
Cindy refuses playing camera today.
okay.
Maybe sad. I was trying to guilt him into doing it.
So we've got red green scape shift, and that is piloted by Carter Petre.
Yep. Inferno Titan's pretty good.
Against Merfolk? You really?
3 damage every turn.
It's not very good against Master Waves.
No.
It's pretty bad against Master
But,
Waves.
well, it kills all the little tokens. It says Bolt a turn, which isn't bad, because you suddenly lose all the little tokens. I believe he also plays Anger of the Gods and other stuff.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, it seems like this is a matchup that gets a lot worse for Elves post-board. I mean, not for Merfolk post-board.
I guess
for Elves, too, probably.
Yeah, it's round 1 of the tribal decks.
Right. I feel like Merfolk is like a very good Game 1 deck, but it's a much worse Game 2 and 3 deck, which is part of why I stopped playing it.
Let's take a break at Hercule's Recall, because then it's a little worse.
Good Fantasy Ender, that's good to hear. I'm glad we can put something up relevant for you. Scape Shift, like I mentioned in the intro, Scape Shift has been seeing a little bit of a resurgence lately, which it seems like the Scape Shift sort of goes in cycles. Every 6 months, like people decide that it's like maybe good again, and then they play it for a little while, and then they decide it's not good anymore.
It's also one of the best decks that can warrant running main deck Anger of the Gods.
Okay. Do you think Anger of the Gods is pretty well positioned right now?
Well, what was the percentage of Coco in the last top 8?
Yeah, that's a fairly good point.
Like, Scape Shift is one of these smoother decks that will run main deck Pyroclasms and Anger of the Gods and not feel bad about it.
See a Lord, a High Harbinger, a land, and an Aether Vial. So this is already a keep for Nick. Although I don't know if he's got colored sources. He doesn't.
Yeah, but here's the Aether Vial.
He's got 2 Mutavaults. But it looks like he is going to keep. I can't see Carter's hand too well. I see a Valakut,
Scape Shift,
a Scape Shift,
some lands.
Looks like we're both fine with our opening 7 here.
Lands and spells, some colors.
Yep. Totally reasonable.
Turn 1 Aether Vial plan's pretty good.
All right, we're just gonna obviously the turn 1 Aether Vial for Nick exactly where he wants to be. That's a second Valakut drawn for Carter. That's an interesting thing. Now you played Scape You've played Scape
I
Shift
played
quite a bit.
I have played a lot of different mods. I wouldn't say quite a bit. I played it for a good month when Dig Through Time was legal. And then Dig Through Time got banned and I got sad.
Yeah. All right.
And then I played Gifts Ungiven for another month.
Get in
and
there,
then
Mutavault.
just doing damage. Yeah, I also didn't play this version of Scape Shift because I'm pretty sure he's on red-green. And this one is an entirely different place.
Well, you were running blue.
Version. Yeah. And the blue makes this deck entirely different.
Sure,
Because suddenly you can play remands, cryptic commands.
Yeah. Looks like the stylish white border basics for Carter as he gets a Sakura tri-border. That's beautiful. That just warms the cockles of me heart.
I wonder if they're also all different arts and different sets.
It depends on how much pride he has, like, as a human being in himself.
Oh, Sebastian Ender is saying a lot of the regular shaped decks are running a playset of bolts.
In the main,
But yeah, I've seen it run both ways depending on the meta you're expecting.
certainly
I
going to
think-
get a block sacrifice here.
Yeah. I think running main deck bolts is good if you don't know the meta, but if you're pretty sure the meta is going to be a lot of Coco and like aggro decks, then you just swap them for Anger of the Gods.
Yeah. Nick is going to have to draw blue at some point here, otherwise he's going to be too constrained on mana
Yeah, he's just going
to
to be going
actually
too
do
slow.
enough things this game. Right? Because he's got Lords, he's got Harbingers, he's got the Spreading Seas in hand, which is
Is that
very...
a Vapor Snag?
He does have a Vapor Snag, which is interesting. What is that?
Well-
Is that an Explorer?
He also has an Echoing Truth, is that?
He's got Ecrodreath in hand.
Yeah, so he just needs a white. Yeah, that is an Explorer. Make sure he doesn't have two out. Oh, no, this is turn 3, so he actually can double Explore if he has it.
Looks like we might see... Oh, the Search for Tomorrow, just hard cast.
It's pretty good.
Yep. He's going to be able to Scape Shift next turn?
He won't be able to escape ship next turn because that'll only be 7 lands, so 18 damage. But he would be able to Primeval Titan or Inferno Titan next turn, depending on what he has.
Yep. We're going to have end of turn Harbinger from the Aether Vial, just a bear. And we do see blue here drawn for
bird.
Nick. Nick, I would imagine, is probably going to Spreading Seas that Valakut. Because
Yeah.
otherwise... Well, I guess that's not true, because there are 2 basic forests for Carter.
I
And
think
we-
they have to Spreading Season in case he's on the Primeval Titan plan. But by the 2 basic forests, it definitely does look more like he's on the Scape Shift plan. But if he goes any ramp spell in Escape Shift, he just gets there.
All right, we're going to get in for 3 with the Harbinger. Worth noting here, Nick's creatures now with Island Walk.
He goes, look, who just had
Probably
anger.
see a post-combat Aether Vial. And that's really good for Nick to be able to now start playing things. It just might be a little bit
Oh,
too
he forgot
late.
to untap his Valakut.
Yeah, that is untapped. You cannot actually forget to untap your permanents.
Yeah, he just physically has not represented it.
I'm sure he'll remember it if he needs to.
Oh, that's an Anger of the Gods. That seems pretty good.
That's a juicy draw here. You probably just is Primeval Titan better if you have it? It might be.
It looks like he has a Summoner's Pact.
He's got Pact, 2 lands, and an Anger of the Gods. I think I just fire off the Anger of Gods here. Because once there's the potential that Nick can go Island Lord next turn, and then your Anger of the Gods does nothing.
Yeah. You just want to be able to go faster.
Yeah. And Carter just needs to... Oh, that card's a Escape Shift. We knew that was in his opening hand. It's not a Pact.
Oh, that looks very close to the art. Oh no, does he have a Summoner's Pact and Escape Shift?
He might...
I think he actually has both.
I think that I would cast the Anger here because if he continues to draw lands, Carter just wins, right?
Also, I think he might be forgetting to count his Valakut.
Yeah. It's incumbent on him to remember what permanents he has in play.
Chad is noticing that he has not untapped his Valakut yet.
Yep. Well, it's possible he's representing it with the with the
Untapped Spreading Seas in
Untapped
his
Spreading
head.
Seas. That's something I often do, is just remove the land so I don't think I have 2 lands when I actually have 1.
We'll see. He's thinking real hard about that Anger of the Gods. Because it is a really relevant choice if he just wants to get, if he has a Primeval Titan or if he wants to go get the Primeval Titan. He also does have a Force in hand. So we see that he has a Force in hand that he knows he can do something with.
He just did tap the Valakut there. So I assume that what he's doing is he's representing... Oh, and he just left it tapped to...
No.
Oh, no, he didn't. Okay.
Oh, no, he knows it's there.
He knows it's there. I think he's just representing it with the untapped state with the spreading seas.
That's what it looks like.
He's doing it a little bit confusingly, but he's clearly aware that it's there. He did just tap it when he was counting his lands.
Yeah, but he tapped one extra then. Oh, he might... No, I don't even know what he...
No, he tapped it with his finger when he was going. He was counting on the table on the lands he had.
okay.
Right. Mutavault's going to get in there for 2. We're going to drop Carter down to 13. We're going to untap. Take a draw. Oh, see? He's just
he didn't want to do it last time.
He's just trolling us at this point. And I would be surprised if we see anything but Escape Shift here, right?
Escape Shift seems good.
Escape Shift's for 21 here.
Does Nick have any blue mana open?
Nick does have his Wanderwine Hub out.
So he's representing Spell Pierce.
But he can
you can
float
play
mana to play around Spell Pierce.
Even then, once you sack the lands, it's too late.
I mean, you can even play around Spell Pierce, Aether Vial, Curse Catcher.
Yeah. I guess he could also have Swan Song if he's super trolling.
Swan Song would be a very surprising card.
Yeah, it would be pretty funny though.
I have played Swan Song in my Merfolk sideboards before, but typically it doesn't do. You typically see that card much more out of combo decks who don't care about the creature on the board.
They don't care about the 2/2.
And Merfolk's a little bit that way because Island Walk means they often don't care about the 2/2.
Yeah.
But there are definitely games where that 2/2 flyer is very relevant. Looks like we're getting some Oracle text here. Maybe he wants... I bet you he was looking up... He wanted to know what Spell Pierce did. And there is the Escape Shift. It's too late for him to...
You can retain priority and float, but yeah, now it's too late.
Yeah, you actually have to sacrifice the lands before it resolves, right? Is that an additional cost or no?
Let's pull up Escape Shift for a second.
I don't remember how Escape Shift works exactly. No, it's part of the resolution of the spell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still float mana just in case, but in this case it doesn't actually matter.
Because once you cast the Escape Shift and your opponent says okay, then it is too late for you to float mana.
Yeah, because it's not part of the cost. It's not the second lens is not part of the cost.
Right.
So at this point, like
once Escape Shift starts resolving, you do not have the priority to tap your lands for mana.
correct.
All right. It looks like Nick is just basically saying, "Okay, show me the mountains."
2 Valakut, 6 mountains.
Yep.
That's
gonna
6
be
per 36.
That's going to be a lot of damage,
Yeah.
and that is going to be Carter taking it down to 1.
And all the other matches were in progress or on game 3.
It's an interesting thing there, the keep by Nick, I think, because you had Aether Vial, you ostensibly had lands,
Yeah.
but do you think he lost that match because he was like Nick died with maybe 4 or 5 spells in his hand?
Well, that hand was also very good versus the creature plan from this.
Was it though?
He had Vapor Snag and Echoing Truth.
Are Vapor Snag and Echoing Truth good against Titans?
They're decent enough. They slow him down that he could conceivably out aggro him.
Yeah. Looks like Choke came in along with the Anger of the Gods, and I'm not sure what that third card is.
I also don't know that this matchup is favorable at all for Merfolk. I'm pretty sure this is just so good for the red-green Escape Shift player.
It depends on how Nick comes out of the gates, I think. The thing with Choke against Nick is it's actually quite bad.
Yeah, that's because
Nick
Nick's
is
running
running
a lot of non-islands.
Nick is running a version specifically to beat Choke. He's like made the call that Choke is a card he wants to play around more than
there's
Blood
also
Moon.
a lot of Choke here.
Yeah, but like you see the cards like Wanderwine Hub in his deck, right?
Yeah. Does
he doesn't he doesn't play white. So Wanderwine Hub is just there as a blue source that's not an island.
It also makes people think you might have paths.
Yeah. Yep. Looks like we started out some Corsair Crew Fix. That seems reasonable, and I didn't see what else. But
It's pretty good at Corsair Crew Fix pretty good to have Corsair Crew Fix when you Escape Shift.
we're gonna head back out to the floor. I'm gonna see if I can get us another match real quick. Otherwise, we're gonna bring it back to the booth, and Eric is gonna entertain you with his antics.
Yay! So we've kind of seen Unfortunately, the downfall of both tribal decks is due to rats. That game it was Anger of the Gods really put him back. In the first game it was both Day of Judgment and Elishnor, and that's also kind of an important thing right now where it's like all these slower decks, or like even some of like I guess Imperial Titans, the Titan Shift deck is pretty fast. Like having a way to wipe the board is pretty good. I'm currently playing Coco a lot, and I refuse to not have a main deck. What's the guy called? The one white black guy, Orzhov Pontiff, to be able to wrath small creatures, just because there's a lot of decks trying to go wide right now. So like that's something definitely important to think about if you're going to Milwaukee this weekend. Is how do you stop a deck from going wide if your deck can't keep them down, because so many decks are playing either Coco or playing a bunch of creatures in a turn. So like one for one might not be enough. But granted, there's plenty of ways to 2 for 1 in Modern. You have Electrolyze, you have Kulagon's Command, you have Maelstrom Pulse, like the things around this. It's just something you gotta be careful of in your 75 for deck building wise. Yeah, I think the other funny thing is, so I've seen, this might be the Chicago meta being weird, but I've seen less Burn and more Goblin decks. So like, to me that's really, really strange, because I would think that Burn is normally the better version, but Burn is more consistent of a turn 4, but 8-whack can be more explosive.
So, here's one of the most bizarre things to me about Modern. Burn is expensive.
Yeah.
Burn's like actually an expensive deck.
It was also tier 1 for a year.
Sure, but like, it's actually probably like a $600, $700, $800 deck at this point.
Yeah, because that's the mana base.
Right, because you play 8 fetches and like
you play more than 8 fetches.
You maybe play 10.
Yeah, you play 10 or 12 because you don't want to ever draw a land.
Right. So, a lot of the reason you see these 8-whack decks popping up, and it's a deck that originally was popularized online, where this is
this deck costs $100 and is good, except for Goblin Guys.
This deck costs $10.
Well, no, because if you're running Goblin Guys, even online,
the deck
Goblin Guys
doesn't really run Goblin Guys.
The deck runs Goblin Guys. The optimized version of the deck runs Goblin Guys.
But I've seen a lot of the versions of the deck not running.
Yeah, you can not run Goblin Guides and the deck is still fine, but the deck is significantly better with Goblin Guides. But now, like, every card in that deck that's a rare shot up. Like, Legion Loyalist went from $2 to 10.
Really?
Yeah, Legion Loyalist is now a $10 card because of that deck.
A ton of that card.
And, like, that's one of those things. Like, that's one of the kind of unfortunate things about Modern is if there's a cheap deck that's doing good, a lot of people will buy out the pieces, and then suddenly it's no longer cheap. So it's like, if you can figure it out first, that's good, because now you have a deck that just suddenly tripled in price.
I mean, but like that happened. So there's a cycle to this, right?
Yeah.
Like, if that deck doesn't put up results, Legion Loyalist is not going to stay a $10 card.
Well, yeah.
Like,
it's a superficial spike.
Right. The deck has spiked because people saw it. Oh, this 5-0'd some Modern dailies. I might as well buy these cards.
Considering it's like $100.
Right.
Or if you're playing Burn, you already have the Goblin Guide. Just like, well, I can spend $50 and have another variation of this deck.
Right, but that's the reason I think you see that deck being played a lot more than Burn proper or Kitty Cat Burn or whatever Burn deck is the flavor of the day, is because it doesn't run shock lands, it doesn't run fetch lands, it doesn't run Eidolons.
But the people I've been seeing run it
doesn't
have the actual Burn deck full fetches and stuff like that. And they're just choosing to play
Some of them don't.
Some of them don't. But the people who I know that have been playing it are actually just running it because it's turn 3s instead of turn 4.
Yeah.
So like when you're trying to race, if you think your meta's a little bit slower, or if you think your meta's fast, but like you can outpace them with goblins. Like
a guy I played against at a tournament on Sunday, playing against that deck, he actually had the whole thing foiled out Japanese.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
I saw that guy. Yeah.
He's the guy who keeps track of life on a cribbage board.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. He's the guy like that. He's got like 4 and black border lightning bolts, like his...
Yeah. He just wanted to play the deck because he thought it was cool. And it's a really cool deck. And it's actually kind of fun to play, too, because it's like, just blow up the board.
I don't think we have any Ad Nauseam or any Belcher. Belcher would be... I don't think I've seen Belcher in Modern in a very long time.
No, if we can ever get Paul playing again, I'll try to get him to play Mono Green Belcher.
Why wouldn't you play Mono White Belcher with that card that removes all the lands from your deck?
Because you have to be able to cast that card.
It costs 4 mana.
Yeah, but how do you get your lands?
You just play... They come into play. Do you know what card I'm talking about?
Well, no, I know what card I'm talking about, but like the Mono Green Belcher literally runs 7 lands.
Right. But like, so it's a different deck entirely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about the deck you're talking about. I'm talking about a Mono White Belcher that runs... It's a control deck, and then it runs that card that's escaping my name. that removes all lands from
Yeah,
your
no,
deck.
I know what you're
And you
talking
put
about.
one into play each turn or whatever, and then just Belcher as its win condition in this control deck. It seems sweet to me. If anyone in the chat knows what card I'm talking about, please shout it out so I can put it up on stream, because this has been one of the decks that I've been trying to make.
Chet agrees with me. The Dark Horse echoing my thoughts exactly as you're talking about this mono-white control Belcher build.
Okay, so if you want to play good Magic cards,
Don't play Belcher.
then
In Modern.
if you want to play good Magic cards, then Belcher's the wrong deck for you. And if you
Not
want,
necessarily in Legacy.
and
You want
if
to play Belcher
and
when it's
if-
good,
we're
play the
not
Legacy.
talking about Legacy. And
That's
if
tomorrow.
you want to play good Magic cards, you don't play Belcher. And if you want to play sweet Magic cards, the white version is superior.
That's fair.
So, like, perhaps the 7-land green
The
Belcher
7-land green version's also pretty sweet,
version is better as a Magic deck, but it fails and pales in comparison to the sweetness.
But you get to run Chancellor of the Tangle.
Okay, that's fair. That's a card that you can run.
Like that's my excuse of Wildlife Clearance, because you actually have a deck that Chancellor of the Tangle is not just terrible in.
Chancellor of the Tangle, folks. Let's get that one up on stream for you.
Oh. As a reminder, we're kind of off topic of anything relevant in Modern anyways. This weekend is game day, so if you are in Chicagoland area and want to
Look
play
at
a
that
game
card.
day, there is game day on Saturday and Sunday at MTGCardmarket, and there's also going to be Pauper starting on Sundays.
Yep, we've been hyping up Pauper for a while. Once again, one of my favorite formats ever. I played
Yeah.
the crap out of it on Magic Online until they got rid of daily events.
Yeah, I don't quite know if we're going to be streaming it ever, but if there's enough demand for it, I imagine we could get someone to stream it, but we'd have to make sure there's enough hype and demand for it.
I know for a fact that it will be played. And
Yes.
I know for a fact that it will be sweet. If there's enough demand, if you really like Pauper, if you really want to watch Pauper, you can
Let the
obviously
store know.
let the store know. Check out their Facebook page. Leave them a little comment. Say, I would like to watch a Pauper stream. I don't know. I'd love to stream Pauper.
I think stream Pauper will be fun.
Pauper, as I mentioned-
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, I know.
But it's a lot of fun. You know everything about it, but that's
It's one of my favorite formats, and it's one of the formats that you can. I mean, before this, you could only sort of play on Magic Online, along with Momir.
Yeah.
That sort of lets you break into Magic Online for cheap, and so it's sort of got this reputation of being this format that only people who had just started playing Magic Online seriously played. But
Yeah.
I think that really undersells how great a format it is.
yeah, because there's a lot of different things you can do in it.
Endless Horizon, hot diggity. Hot diggity dog. This is a Magic card, my friends.
It's just so $5.
Well,
It's
because
like a
a
4
lot
mana.
of people want to play Mono White Belcher.
I'm pretty sure it's $5 from EDH.
Mono White Belcher in EDH.
I guess you could play Belcher in your mono white
there's,
deck.
There's that commander, the commander that tutors for artifacts, right?
That's not in white.
What am I
It's the
thinking
blue one.
of? No, I'm thinking of Nahiri, right? The Planeswalker commander?
Oh, yeah. I guess you could do that. Oh, we need to figure out who we're putting on next round.
Well,
Do you want to go find the Gibson Given player?
well, if Justin won, he's going to be on camera. We also have maybe 5-6 minutes left in the round.
I thought he called 5 minutes a few minutes ago. I heard
Did
him
he?
call.
Well,
in.
I can.
He
I
yelled
can-
something, so
if you
definitely
want-
check that.
If you want to take the stream down by yourself, and you want me out of the picture,
Okay, I'll take it down. I got this.
If you want me out of the picture, that's fine. I understand.
I can go do it, but yeah, we should make sure we have a match on.
Endless Horizon. Think about it.
You don't have to link me the deck list, but apparently Shay's really interested in it. We should get name tags on this so they actually know who is who.
You can whisper it to us. If you try to post the link in stream, you will get banned by Mubat.
Oh yeah, don't directly post the link in stream because it will. Mubot's been really snipey with people. Also, you can't use more than 8 caps in a sentence, or else it caps lock bans it for some reason. So gotta be careful with that. It doesn't actually ban you, but it'll censor the post. So our Mubot has been quite aggressive the last time I was streaming. It was kind of entertaining. Greg Pino likes the idea of Mono White Belcher. And has played the deck. So, well, if one of you guys have the deck or own the deck, bring it down to MTG Card Market, and we'll at least, if you win game 1, we can try to put you on stream. If you win match 1, we can try to put you on stream for match 2. That is kind of my rule with unknown decks, is if you win a match, I'll put you on. So at least it's funny. Did 4C Gifts get there?
So, that match is still ongoing. There are 2 minutes left in the round, and they are still playing. It looks like he's battling it out against Retreat to Coral Helm combo. I see blue and I see a Knight of the Reliquary in play, so it might just be Bant.
Could be Bant
Company,
Coco, Bant mid-range.
But in my heart of hearts, I want to believe that there is a Retreat to Coral Helm in that deck.
Oh, I hope there's a Retreat to Coral Helm.
And I've seen people lose to Retreat to Coral Helm at the store, including my friend Eli, who had no idea what was going on. Just was very confused.
I need to blow my nose quick, so I'm going to kind of...
Greg Pino in the chat. He's playing
He's all for Mono White Belcher.
Greg Pino, man after my own heart, just loves playing fair Magic cards like Goblin Charbelcher.
Yeah. Also, hello, Cubs fan.
Goblin Charbelcher is the epitome of a fair Magic card.
Cubs fan's from Milwaukee. Yeah, me and Shay are both going to be there.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. If you are in Milwaukee and you would like to say hi to any of the Magic personalities who might be there from MTG Card Market stream, I know I will be there.
I'm going to use personality loosely for us.
You have no personality. I will be there.
I don't have personality, but I have a catchphrase.
Eric will be there. Grixis? Grissix.
I wanted to get team stream shirts just so I could have Grissix written on the back of the shirt whenever I go to a tournament.
Feel free to come up. Feel free to say hi. Feel free to do whatever. Well, don't do whatever because there's some weird things.
Also, I have no idea who you are in person, Cubs fan, so at least if you're going to say hi to us and you're pretty sure we know you by your username, at least tell us who you are and not confuse us. I've had that happen before where someone who just had been watching the stream for a while came and started talking to me like I knew who he was. I'm like, I never met you before in my life.
Yep. I'll be wearing an MTG Card Market shirt, so you can probably find me that way.
I will likely be wearing some type of shirt.
I will likely be wearing some type of shirt has been called. As has time in the round, so we are in terms now. How was that for a segue?
Perfect segue.
That was a perfect segue. No, I'm internet famous now. I don't know if you know that.
Why are you internet famous?
I was walking to the corner store at about 2 a.m. about a week ago. I had the nibblies. I wanted a little bit of.
You had the nibblies.
I wanted some.
Is that like the nicer form of the munchies?
No, because I just wanted chips. And someone stopped me and they said, "You're that guy," and I'm like. Please elaborate because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because it's 2 a.m. and I'm in Chicago.
Right, you're that guy is a little bit... right, and he said, you're the guy who does those Magic streams, right? And I'm like, yes, okay, bye forever.
Oh, I do know who Cubs fan is. I remember this. You're going to have to remind me, but I definitely recall this game.
How did you kill yourself with that nauseam?
Because I played it blind. I had to combo off or else I was dead, so I cast at nauseam and killed myself.
Okay.
Because sometimes that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a thing.
I will probably not be playing at nauseam there unless I get super bored, mostly because I personally expect to be a lot of Coco decks.
I think at a minimum, ad nauseum is the deck you are fourth most likely to play.
Probably fifth.
Okay.
Of the 5 decks I own,
Coco.
I won't play at nauseam before I play Lantern Control in a full day tournament.
Oh, that's fair. I love me some Lantern Control, but that deck messes with your brain. But so
I like having breaks for food.
Coco, then Infect, then Lantern Control, then Affinity.
I don't have Affinity. I'd be borrowing one of my friend's elf stacks.
Oh, elves. Okay. you would rather
borrow a deck
than play any of the decks you own.
Yeah. So I love Lantern Control, but I also love it more as my store is annoying me, so I'm gonna bring it with and annoy some of the players. I don't know that I'm going to keep the deck for a very much longer because it's a fun deck, but I don't enjoy playing it that much beyond the 2-3 rounds.
I'll buy it from you.
Actually.
$5.
We can talk $5. I'll trade
do
you
you
a
want
Kentucky War Wish.
A Kentucky War Wish? Shoot. No, that deck is Magic in its purest form. That's just like what Richard...
That's like saying Dredge is Magic in his purest... No, it's not what Richard Garfield means. Otherwise, every single card in my deck would say blue, draw 3.
When Richard Garfield had that eureka moment and he was like, Magic, here's this thing I'm going to make. What he was envisioning in his head was that in 20-some years,
Wait, how does someone just gain moderator status in the middle of this?
It means a moderator joined the room.
Oh, okay, I need to give myself moderator status again.
Nope. Also, you're banned from the stream.
Actually, it wouldn't be surprised me because I've ticked Paul off multiple times, but we haven't banned him, so it's okay.
By Paul, I assume you mean
Paul Green.
Paul Green.
Paul Green.
And
That's
not,
now more confusing because Paul is like the
not
manager.
Paul, the
here.
manager of the store
Yeah.
who runs the stream.
One of those Pauls was awesome, and that Paul is not Paul Green.
Someone should let you be moderator. I don't know, man.
Cubsman used to be a moderator on the old chat, but like I'm not in charge of it anymore.
I have no control over moderation.
I can only grant myself moderator because it's me.
Except in that I could totally grant people moderator, but I don't have like.
We can, but we don't have permission.
I have the power, but not the mandate. You know.
I thought it might have been towards the end. I thought you had it for a bit, but I could be wrong. We could have revoked it right away.
Cubspan is one of the.
Cubspan is one of the originals.
One of the viewers who's been with us for the most. Because I remember streaming on Wooberg like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and Cubspan was there.
Cubspan, Dark Horse. We've had a lot of people. I recognize a lot of people. I haven't seen Raptor around in a while. Texas Raptor. Or Texas Rager.
Texas.
We had Texas Rager. We also had someone with a Raptor.
Rager has been in the last 2 streams I've done.
I keep getting unlucky and not seeing
Maybe
him.
he hates you.
It's possible.
Yep.
It's quite possible.
We're gonna go back out there, see if we can maybe get a match on camera for you. We should be starting round 2 relatively soon.
Unless they're still in turns.
Well, that's possible.
That wonderful game. We're still going to have Endless Horizon pulled up until it's something more relevant because it's, as much as I will not play Mono White Belcher, which we were talking about a little bit earlier for anyone who just joined, it's still a wonderful card. Yeah, see, I was right. Dark Horse has been around. There is a chance I will be wearing that t-shirt on Saturday, so look for me in that, and mostly because this is my only MTG Card Market shirt, and I don't feel like wearing it 2 days without washing it. And I'm pretty sure repping the brand is bad if I smell terrible. Oh, okay. So for people who are just joining, so we were talking about ways to play Belcher, and one of the ways to play Belcher Modern is mono white, using Endless Horizon to just pull all the planes out of your deck. So you essentially cast Endless Horizons, remove all the planes out of your deck, and then next turn activate Belcher. So like it's a bit slower, but you play it as a control deck. So you just play a bunch of Wraths, a bunch of Pass, like a bunch of removal, and then you just kill them with Belcher after you have no lands left in your deck. So, I don't know that Shay really wants to play. He's just saying if you're playing Belcher,
No,
you should play them on a... You want to play them on a white version?
That deck's awesome.
Okay, so I am now hearing if someone can build and bring this deck to a
I will play
Modern
it
on Wednesday, Shay will play it.
I'll play it on Saturday.
Really?
No.
I was about to say, a Cubs fan, I think we can make this work.
If I scrub out of the main event, I will totally
When
play
we
it.
scrub out of that main event?
I said if.
I'm saying when. I said when we, not when you.
You.
I have no faith in myself in large tournaments. I can do fine in 1Ks and 2Ks, but as soon as I go to a 2-day tournament, I don't day 2 anymore.
Anyway, we're gonna cut away from the fountain of positivity that is sitting to my right, and talk about what we're gonna be seeing next round. Justin did not win his match. He instead lost to the Retreat to Coral Helm Bant deck. But
Are we putting that on instead?
the upshot of that is, guess what deck we're gonna have on camera next round? We're gonna
Is it
start.
Retreat to Coral
We're
Helm
gonna
Bant?
start with Bant, Knight of the Reliquary, Retreat to Coral Helm combo, and that has a name that I'm forgetting.
Nightfall.
Nightfall. That makes sense. Knight of the Reliquary, Landfall combo.
Yeah, because you have to try to name your magic decks as cool as you can.
Did I still want the mono white Belcher list? Yes. Whisper it to us, and I can. If you have a link to that, I can post it in the chat. People can revel in the glory of mono white Belcher.
Yeah, you can just PM the channel.
That's what whisper means.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I clearly do not know my Twitch lingo. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's just kind of my like profile picture for this.
sounds to me like we've got some pairings that might be happening. Nope. Well, maybe. Maybe.
Oh, we will have Nightfall on, which will be pretty fun. I haven't seen this deck for a while, so I'm pretty happy it's making a comeback. Wonder if he's running Ancestor Visions.
Maybe. That looks like maybe him on the right there. I'm gonna see if
Let's
I
go
can
check this.
Snag us some pairings.
We can get some pairings to set this up. Oh, so we do have the list. Let me pull this up. I hope I'm not going to block anything with it. Joke's on us, it's actually a virus. He sent us a version of it and said he also has a version that splashes blue.
Flash is blue.
You got 8 blue lands now that are also planes.
Where's your convictions?
I don't know why I'm trying to reach across everything.
Well, this deck is not modern legal.
Is this extended? This is extended.
Yeah, this deck plays
This thing plays Chrome Mox.
Chrome Mox,
which is sweet.
not modern legal.
Most of the other stuff is, though.
I don't think there's anything else in here that's not modern legal. I think it's just the Chrome Mox.
Chrome Mox is sweet. Is worth.
Yeah. So this. Yeah.
It was a mono white Belcher list.
It was in fact indeed a mono white Belcher list. It just was not the one that I could play on Wednesday.
Well, you could.
I would get
Just
DQ'd.
get DQ'd.
Well, I wouldn't get
Very-
DQ'd. I would have to remove the Chrome Moxes and replace them with basic lands, which I could then take out of my deck with Endless Horizons.
That is true.
It's just
But running 29 lands in Modern seems a little loose.
it works in Legacy. See if I can
Alright.
guess pairings again.
So it looks like this is starting up soon.
Yep.
Do you know what is the guy on the left the Nightfall player?
Do you have a
Oh, he just left. A little bit of background chatter. But alright, so looks like they're starting. We're gonna get the matchup so we can get their names spelled correctly.
No, I know from watching Channel Fireball videos that the guy on the left is Mashi Scanlon.
Okay.
Anyway,
Sometimes just hump.
no, his Twitter name is actually the guy on the left, and he always sits on the
Oh.
left.
I did not realize his Twitter name was the guy on the left.
Yeah, so we're going to reset our life totals here. That one doesn't need to be reset. So welcome to round 2.
$10-0.
Yeah, you've never typoed in your life, huh?
Nah.
Let's start the clock.
So are they both 101? I mean,
They're both
100?
1-0.
This is round 2.
You know, you don't have to like announce every change as I make
But
it.
it's fun.
Looking for Tommy here.
Do you know what his opponent is playing?
Nope. So on the left there, we've got Ryan Bogner. Not sure what he's playing yet, as we say. And we've got on the right,
Didn't he used to play Jund or Junk?
Nightfall. It's with a K, right?
Yeah. He looks like he's on Coco?
It does look like Bant Coco to me.
That looks like a 0 land.
He's gonna
No, I think Brian's actually playing Combo Coco.
Combo Coco?
Coco Combo.
Isn't that what Abzan Coco is?
You said Bant Coco.
No, you said Bant Coco. I said Tommy's on Nightfall.
Oh, and I said Ryan's on Abzan Coco. Whatever.
You know what Abzan means, right?
Junk.
Combo Coco.
Well, no, because there actually
It's
are...
the same deck.
Whatever.
When you say Abzan Coco, people assume that deck.
Okay.
Sorry, got a little feisty in the booth here for you folks. We're just
We're
trying
tilting the shay.
We're just trying to bring you the most quality content that we possibly can, including the records of the players.
Chat agrees with you. You definitely said Bant Coco.
That's what Eric said.
No, that's what you said. I said Tommy might be playing Bant Coco, and I said Ryan's playing the other Coco.
No, I told you what Tommy's playing. I asked him. He's playing Nightfall.
Never mind. Clearly there was confusion when we were talking about this.
This is outrageous.
Chat's on my side. Thank you, great image.
This is out.
Ghost fans on my side too.
This is outrageous, and this will not stand. I will ban every single one of you.
Can't ban me. I'm already on here.
That's true.
Well, you could ban my account.
I
from
could
this, but
annoy the crap out of you this weekend when we're driving together to
it's not
Milwaukee.
that. No, because that's Silas' problem.
Anyway,
He'll
to the
leave you on
game
side
here,
of the road.
we've got a nice little turn 1 and 2 for Ryan Bogner. He's got the turn 2 Kitchen Finks.
That is threatening the turn 3 combo.
It is indeed
yeah.
threatening turn 3 combo.
The scary one.
It's going to go up to 22. Did he fetch at all?
I do not believe so. That's a
Nope.
Razor Verge.
He's at 22.
And Tommy's
going to fetch. Looks like I can't tell if he's put an untapped land into play. So Tommy's going to go to 19.
Yeah, there's a lot of decks that want to just be going Razor Verge into birds right now.
The fast lands are so good.
Yeah.
There was a whole period of time in Modern where the fast lands were not getting nearly enough play. Looks like we've got a Windswept Heath for Tommy. Gonna survey his options. I do see a knight in his hand along with another land. We're gonna crack. Maybe get something like do we have the combo? Are we threatening combo on turn 3? Nope, we just got a Scavenging Ooze. Pretty good against that Kitchen Finks.
Nah, if he doesn't have mana up.
I mean, like, you realize that when someone says it's good, they mean like in general, right?
No, I don't realize that.
Eric, what are we gonna do with you? Anyway, Ryan's gonna draw. Looks like an Overgrown Tomb was the draw for the turn. He does have.
Does he actually have the combo?
I don't see a Viscera Seer in
If
hand.
he has if one of those is I can't see what those last 2 cards are. Those birds?
I can't tell. One of them might be a Birds. One might be a Collected Company. Looks like I think if he had the combo, he wouldn't be debating right now. So
Yeah.
There's almost certainly not a Viscera Seer in hand.
I think one of those looks like the bird tail. So I think at least one of those is a birds.
Yep. Looks like we're gonna shock here.
Go back
Down
to 20.
to 20. And just play the Anafenza. Anafenza will, of course, resolve. Tommy's going to make sure he knows what that card does. So, pro tip, guys, always read the cards.
Yeah.
Even if you have, like, the slightest...
That is Birds of Paradise and Coco, so if Tommy taps out, he is dead next turn.
Well, maybe. Ryan would have to find Viscera Seer.
But he has Court of Calling.
Oh, you said Coco.
Sorry, I did say Coco, but that is a Court of Calling in his hand.
Kitchen Fink's going to rumble.
Offer the trade because you have the birds to just bolster trigger onto it.
Well, also because just, like, you would love to get that Scavenging Ooze off the board for the right side of for the front half of Kitchen Finks. Yep, Persist Trigger's going to happen. Go right back up to 22.
It is also relevant that he had Anafenza here instead of Malira, because if he had Malira, he could have actually courted instantly for the Viscera Seer,
Right.
but now he doesn't have the triple green to court with.
It doesn't look like Tommy quite knew how that interaction was going to work. Yep. When
What is the... You can't use that many caps lock, Cubs fan. Yeah, I think he forgot how Anafenza worked. It looked like, and accidentally traded, but...
Yeah, he must not have quite known how that interaction worked. Everyone, obviously what happens is Kitchen Finks comes into play with the Persist trigger, and it checks with the Bolster trigger of Anafenza. It itself has the lowest toughness because it's a 2/1, and then you bolster onto it and cancel out the -1/-1 counter that's on it.
Yeah, but if a lot of people are used to only seeing it in the combo, you kind of forget what happens when they're not trying to combo and just swing.
Yep. So really nice basic lands for Tommy. Looks like we're going to go down to 17 for him. Tommy does have a Collected Company of his own. He's just going to play his Knight.
Yeah, and it looks like Ryan...
Knight is a 5/5.
Yeah, it's pretty big. But
So Ryan can just win here. Well,
yeah, if we were right that was a Court of Calling, which I'm pretty sure it is, he just...
Yeah, in fact, he has 2 Chords of Calling in his hand now.
Seems pretty good.
Yep. Those are sweet basics. Those are Onslaught basics. You know, there's an obsession in the Magic community with full art, like, basics with just terrible art. Like, the new Shadows, or not Shadows, the new Return to Zendikar full art lands suck. The art
I like a
is
few of them.
bad.
I think a few of them are fine.
The original Zendikar lands suck.
But I'm actually a real fan of a lot of the lore wind block.
I mean,
basics.
In my Kiki cord right now, I now have matching 8th edition white borderlands. So what am I to? Who am I to say? Looks like we're
Degenerate.
going to get the Viscera Seer
And explain the combo.
explain the combo, demonstrate the loop, go to Infinite Life.
Yeah,
The Nightfall combo is not a combo that can beat Infinite Life.
yeah, that was also kind of like the up and down hand motion of I'm gonna sack this a bunch of times and gain some life.
Yep, this is what is known as demonstrating a loop. Ryan is saying, this is what's going to happen when I do this. It's going to return the game state into the same situation, except I'm going to have 2 more life, and then I'm going to repeat this over and over again until I'm at some arbitrarily large number.
He also has a really arbitrarily large amount of Scry 1s.
Once again, for anyone in the stream who's not familiar with the combo, what's happening there is the interaction we just talked about with Kitchen Finks, where it persists back and then you cancel out the counter with the bolster trigger. He is sacking it over and over again to Viscera Seer, and that interaction's happening over and over again, netting him 2 life and a scry each time.
Yes.
So it looks like Tommy's going to pick up his lands, pick up his spells, concede the game. We're going to go on to game 2 after some sideboarding. Ryan Bogner does take down game 1.
Yeah, this matchup might be a little bit more in favor of the Abzan Coco deck, just because it combos off a little faster. Also, its combo is infinite instead of whereas the Nightfall combo is very finite.
It's related to the number of lands that you're in deck that you can actually get with the Knight.
You normally jam it. I think it normally will do around 25 or so, 25, 26 damage, just in case someone does have a little bit of life gain. But
of the full art lands, Guru are not full art.
I thought the Guru lands were full art.
No.
What's the ones I'm thinking of that are full art that are not unhinged?
There's Unhinged, Unglued, and Zendikar. Those are the only are the only full
I'm
art
wrong.
lands. But of the full art lands, Unglued are clearly the superior ones because they have that sweet. So I've been playing Magic for almost as long as I've been alive, and I am a sucker for the old border. I think that the new modern border is pretty terrible.
You mean you don't like that little dot?
Okay, so don't even get me started on the new border. I still haven't adjusted to the one that happened in 8th edition.
That's fair.
The judge that is one I forgot. The Judge Full Arts do exist as well. You are not able to link, so if you would like to link, you can send us the link in a direct message, and if it's okay, I will post it in the chat for you. Old border is the best border. I don't think it's even close.
I started playing it in a Strahd block, so the borders don't really mean much to me.
Cubs fan, that is that's a pretty accurate impression of me. That's pretty close.
You don't get to see his dance with it though.
We'll bring it back to the booth. It's like this. I'm Shay. Old borders are better. New borders suck. New cards suck. Nah.
And now you got to see his dance with it.
Yeah. That's basically what I'm like all the time.
You also done that dance for other things. Like when talking about why you hate cardboard crack comics.
They're infuriating.
I kind of agree with Thoshis. That is a lot of Magic players in general. You have your one specific like and hate everything else.
Yeah. Magic players are really good at not liking things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was probably the highlight of my night and maybe week.
It was a pretty good dance.
Yeah.
Also, it would be very wonderful if someone subscribes and then sees that and goes, nope.
We don't have a sub button, bro.
We don't have a sub button anymore?
We've never had a sub button.
Follow
What you're
button?
thinking of is following.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not down on the Twitch lingo.
Well, okay. I forgive you.
Alright, so they're shuffling up. Let's see. Sideboard options in Ryan, assuming is a standard board. Phyrexian Revoker or Linvala, depending on what he's running, both seem pretty good. Because they stop Knight of the Reliquary from going off.
If his build is similar to yours and he has the paths in the board, they're surely coming in this matchup.
He's got to have some number of removal between paths and abrupt decays in the 75.
The only question is whether it's main deck or whether it's in the board. Whether his deck is more tuned toward the combo or just to play the mid-range game.
Combo or bust. But not boom bust.
Boom Bust was a playable card for a second. All right. So as I said,
If you guys want to send links, you have to whisper them to us.
Yeah, and I'm not going to post gifts.
That is a pretty accurate representation
Okay,
of the
I'll
gift.
post that. I'll post that. You know what? You won me over. This is pretty much exactly what my dance looked like.
Also, Cubsman, I don't believe either of us own a Linvala because I got rid of mine when it spiked.
And I used to borrow Eric's.
Yeah. So the one Linvala that was floating around got disappeared when it went up so high.
I might be trying to find a Linvala myself if I decide to like play it in my Kiki cord at the last second.
Remind me later, and I'll ask our driver if he has one, because he has a bunch of cards laying around from Cube, and he might have a Linvala in his
Does he
Cube.
have a Burrington Forge Tender or an
He
Aethos
actually
One Caranus?
probably does have
Anyway,
both of those.
to the game here. Ryan has gone down to 19. He's going to be fetching up. Oh, he's going to shock. Probably playing a Birds or a Hierarch here. This is the ideal start.
I did not trade you a Linvala for a Cryptic. Greg Pino.
Seems like a poor trade. We're going to drop down to 19 for Tommy. It's going to fetch a probably... we've got the check lands.
So apparently there's a question about this. I will probably be driving up there with Silas Waltzer. He's all
I know
local player.
Silas.
Yeah. Some of the people in the chat are asking, but we'll see what happens. I don't remember ever trading you for a Cryptic Command, Greg. So I don't believe so. It's possible if I had two that I traded the second one away. So I might be wrong because I had like a bunch of Linvalas at some point.
Anyway, Eternal Witness is the draw for the turn for Tommy. He's going to look over his options. I do see a Breeding Pool there. Scavenging Ooze to the next of that card. So we might just see Breeding Pool Ooze go here, which is reasonable. Being on the play matters a lot. Nope, we're just going to see a basic forest, and we are going to see the Scavenging Ooze pass back to Ryan. Ryan's draw for the turn looks like a Revelark.
Ooh.
Which is a spicy card in Kiki Cord. I mean, in Coco. I don't think I've seen that one.
I have not seen it either, but it seems pretty good.
Is this the matchup you would expect it to be? That was a Revelark, right? Second card from the
that
right?
looks like a Revelark to me. I don't know the card he'd be running that looks like that.
Might be a Ghostly Prison? I think it was a Revelark. Anyway, looks like Tommy's going to get in for 2 with the Scavenging Ooze. Put Ryan down to 15. Ryan looks like he actually is on a 1-lander.
Could it be one of the Arts of Path?
No.
Or is it white bordered?
No, it's not
it's
Path.
gotta be a Revelark.
I think it's actually
Or
Ghostly.
Linvala?
I think it's actually Ghostly Prison.
Really? Worship? I
No,
know
it's
this
not
next-
Worship. I know what Worship art
Okay.
looks like.
Well, we'll see in a turn or two if he draws a land.
Loxodon Smiter is pretty big here.
4/4s are pretty good against Coco.
I think I'm like 75% sure it is a Ghostly Prison.
Could be an Endless Horizons.
No.
You're looking up Endless.
Endless Horizons Prison. What letter am I on?
Ghost. That wasn't helpful. The T. This is a different art, but we'll see. Maybe we'll see.
Cubsman, that is like your number one thing. You bring it up every week.
Someone always does it every week, though.
Red cap is the
That was
draw.
a swing for 6.
Swing for 6, pretty big. Oh,
Yeah, Ryan's in trouble if he does not draw a land.
where's my mouse? I don't know where the mouse is. What the heck? So bear with me for a second, guys. I think my mouse is dead.
Do we have extra batteries?
Okay, this mouse is working. We're going to use that mouse.
EA 2 mice?
This is not the right site. Anyway, looks like we just... While we were having some mouse snafus, it looks like Ryan picked him up.
Yeah, he just wasn't able to draw a land. Also, Thoughtseize thinks it might have also been a Linvala.
It might be, like, Linvala makes a lot more sense as a card to bring in. I don't think it looks like that, though. It does, there was definitely purple in that card. Yeah, it was not a Linvala. I am, like, reasonably
Yeah,
sure.
that didn't. It looked. Let's look up the art for Revelark because it looked like a Revelark to me, but I don't know why he would have a Revelark either.
Well, you can't get it off Coco, so
That's fair, but you can get it off Court of Calling.
yeah. See, it definitely could be Revelark. The
I guess-
Revelark
well,
would
maybe
be
we'll
a
find
sort.
out.
Yeah, maybe we will. Revelark would be, as you say, a sort of strange card to have in the deck.
Yeah, but it's also not necessarily a bad thing though if he's getting a lot of his stuff having to chump block with a lot of his combo pieces. Could it have been a Fiend Hunter?
Oh Jesus!
What just happened?
I just refreshed the stream by mistake.
Ah,
I was trying to whisper Cubs fan. It's not played in your board, is it, Derek?
no, I haven't seen a lot of players
is-
playing Revelark anymore.
It is not.
Most
that widely
players are just
played.
using Eternal Witness because it does like the same thing, but you can hit it off Coco,
Yeah.
and you can keep Coco chaining with Eternal Witnesses.
All right. So looks like we're gonna get our openers here.
I hope it was Iona. There is
A lot of chords and Cocos in that hand.
but does he have lands?
I see a Gavany Township and no color sources.
That is a sad, sad hand.
Yeah, I see two birds, but
And he's on the play.
Oh no,
Oh,
man,
he had a
I
forest.
missed a forest. Okay,
Neither of us can see that for
that
us.
hand is great then. All right, we're gonna pass it back. Looks like we're gonna see a dueling mana creature here.
But then does Ryan just get to play too?
All right, we're probably gonna see. So Gavany Township's gonna be great this game. Get in there. Message.
Get in there for two.
For one.
Oh, for one.
Message received.
With the flyer. Does he have another bird in hand still? Or is that the Court? I don't like that Birds of Paradise has such a similar art to Court of Calling from this far away.
There's definitely one chord, and I don't think there's a birds. Because if there were birds, you would play it there.
So he just wanted that one damage.
Yeah. Just a 2/2 Knight of the Reliquary for Tommy. I'm gonna pull that card up on stream in case you guys are unfamiliar. It's really powerful in Legacy, and people are, I think, just starting to realize that it's probably pretty good in Modern too.
Oh, its price has dropped down from what it used to be. Are the mice just acting up?
I don't understand what's going on here.
Is that one not working too now?
No, it is. It's like laggy.
Do you want to go see if they have batteries?
Nope. I wanna keep watching this awesome game of Magic.
Okay. We can check between games. Correct. You cannot evoke the...
Evoke is an alternate casting cost. Cord doesn't cast the card; it puts
Correct.
it into play.
But if you have a Visceraseer or a different sack outlet, you just sack it once you get it.
All right. The land. We're gonna go down to 18 for Tommy. It's gonna have the intended consequence of pumping his Knight of the Reliquary by +1/+1.
Yep. So he has a Coco in hand, right? Yeah, so he's just going to jam Coco here.
We are gonna take the shock there. Go to 16.
For a second night?
No, he has, like, you collected company.
Does Tommy have it also?
Why would you not play collected company in this deck?
That's fair. I just didn't see if he had it in hand or not.
I assume if he is shocking for 4 mana,
That's fair.
there's a collected company here. It looks like maybe that is a retreat in his hand. What is it? Is that blue card retreat?
Yeah, he's just going to try to go off here. He has to use...
And we'll pull that up on the stream. Retreat and Coral Helm into play. The combo here is Knight can sacrifice a forest or plains to search your library for a land card and put it onto the
Yep.
battlefield. When that land comes into play, the landfall ability of Retreat to Coral Helm will trigger, and you will untap the Knight with that.
Yes, this is going to be a lot of chaining. And this might have also been a reason to leave the Birds of Paradise up, because if he's running Spellskite, you can now Court of Calling for a Spellskite. Which unfortunately now he cannot do, but yeah, he's just going to keep chaining his lands. He's gonna crack his land, put an untapped trigger to tap down the Noble Hierarch.
And this die you see on screen is presumably keeping track of the amount of mana that he has made.
Yep. Yeah, he also got... Did you get the life total change?
Yep.
Okay.
He fetched with the Flooded Strand, which he got off of the Knight, and now he's going to get the Hallowed Fountain. He's going to tap it to make a mana, then he's going to sacrifice that.
What is he doing with all this mana, I wonder? So he's
Casting
at 12 now?
Emrakul.
I hope so, because that's got to be the best combo finish of Nightfall.
I'm not very familiar with Nightfall as a deck, except that it's sweet. We're going to sacrifice the Forest to the Knight.
Also, I believe Tommy's now at 13 from that shock.
Oh, he did shock himself, yes.
So imagine at some point he gets one of the lands that gives his creatures protection from something.
The finish is probably Keswick. No, because he doesn't play red. Can't be Keswick Wolfrun. But he can just attack with both of those creatures, right?
Yeah.
It is Keswick Wolfrun. Where's he getting the red for that from? Maybe he's just one red source in the deck?
Probably. Although it looks like he's just swinging with a really big dude. Or is he doing it again? No.
No, he's doing it again. There's no reason not to.
I think he can also give his guy protection from green, but I would tap down Noble Hierarch soon because otherwise Ryan's representing Coco. If you don't do it till late, your combat math is going to be off.
He has a stomping ground. Okay. He can also just tap down the Hierarch with the combo.
Yeah, but I was saying is I would do that earlier instead of floating mana because then you know what... If you do it towards the end, you don't know what the Coco's going to hit.
Right.
So I'd want to get like all the information as soon as possible.
All right, we're going to sacrifice another land. Knight is currently a 9/9.
It's pretty big. You just have to get all the way to 20, though.
All right, making some more manas with that Noble Hierarch. We're going to sacrifice the Windswept Heath. We're going to go down to 12.
I guess tapping all the Noble Hierarch would cause Ryan to float a mana.
Right, because I mean, since Tommy is floating mana himself, he can't just pass to second main phase because he does want to use his attack also. Knight's gonna.
How many fetches do you think this deck runs?
Many, like at least 8. So the hand on Ryan's side is Coco, 2 Chords, and Eternal Witness, I think?
Yeah. But if he has a Spellskite or like a Fiend Hunter or something in the top 6, that would be pretty good. Yeah, so if he left both his mana dorks up instead of swinging for that 1 point of damage, he'd be able to go for Spellskite and stop this combo. But I don't know that he was expecting the
Why would Spellskite stop?
Oh, because you can redirect the untap trigger from Retreat to Coral Helm.
Right, but he can just keep. Oh, I see what you're saying.
You never allow the Knight of the Reliquary to untap.
Right, you don't untap the Knight of the Reliquary.
But I also don't know if he was expecting the Retreat to Coral Helm because he didn't see it game 1 or 2.
I mean, it's hard to tell. It looks like we got another fetch down to 11. I'm down to 11 there. It's worthwhile to note that, like, Ryan can't exactly just go for Collected Company here until Tommy taps the Knight to attack. So ideally you would go into your attack phase with a fetch land on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Because, and there's the stomping ground. We're going to shock down to 10. Sorry, 9. This is a life-intensive combo.
Yeah. You can definitely do it without losing all of your life, or you can do this a little bit safer.
Right.
We're getting to see a lot of his deck, though.
Yep, I mean, this is what the deck is trying to do.
There's the Wolf Run.
He does have the activation for the Wolf Run up. This all could be for naught if Ryan does indeed have the Spell Scout on the top of his library.
Yeah.
At the top 6 cards of his library.
2,
Now,
3, 4.
It's worthwhile to note that Ryan didn't see any of this retreat shenanigans during game 1 or 2.
So now the Reliquary is a 17-17
It's
right now.
possible that he was not putting Tommy on retreat. It's possible he just thought he was some sort of Bant collected company deck, and that's a deck you might board Spellscud out against.
Yeah, that is very fair. But now Tommy has to be careful, because right now, neither the Reliquary is a 17-17 with the Noble Hierarchy going to be 18. So when he pumps, so if Ryan hits enough with his Coco, he might still be alive just from gaining enough life or getting enough body blockers.
It looks like we are attacking, so it's a 17-17 knight plus 6, so it's a 23 power knight with trample.
Yep.
With an exalted trigger, so 24. There's no reason not to fire off this collected company here.
I'm guessing he does not have Spellskite in by the fact that he did not...
In response to the trigger.
In response to the trigger.
I mean, the activation.
Yeah.
There are any number of outs that Ryan could have. Unfortunately, he does not appear to have any of the spell versions in his hand, so he's going to have to hope to hit one of his creatures that can deal with this. It's worth noting that just, as you said, 2 Kitchen Finks is probably enough to live.
Yeah, but Tommy does have a fetch land.
Sure, so he can tap them down.
So he can tap at least one blocker down.
Yep.
And I believe he just swung for 23?
It was 24, I believe. But
24.
Alright, we are going to fire off the collected company. That's a land. I didn't see that one. Ryan's slow rolling us. That was an Abrupt Decay.
That was
a Maelstrom Pulse.
Actually, that wasn't a Birds.
It might have been either. That's a... Oh, he could also... No, he can't combo in response. Okay. Looks like that's... I don't think that's going to do it.
Gets a bolster trigger.
He sure does if he remembers it. We're going to block.
Looks like he bolstered onto the birds and just blocked because he knew it was going to die.
So that's 4 toughness of blockers. That looks like Xaxes to me. Yeah, and we could also sacrifice the fetch land to make it 1 more, untap the knight, and keep getting more lands in the middle of combat.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down to 8.
So I think because he had 6... I'm trying to remember how much mana he had floating before he had to use in the Kessig Wolfrun. Because Kessig Wolfrun costs 2 to activate.
He had 2 lands and a Wolfrun in play, and he had 8 mana. As you can still see the 6 and 2 up at the top.
But I thought 2 of that went to activate it, so I thought it was only 6.
Okay, that's possible. But that would still be lethal here, is my concern.
It's either lethal or Ryan will be at like 1.
There's no way this isn't lethal, right? But the fact that Ryan is not conceded yet makes me suspect that it is not lethal.
Oh, he just gave it pro. Because he still had the land that gives it protection from something.
Oh, he hasn't even... Wait, but...
I think this is before he can declare blockers.
Ryan already declared blockers. Oh, maybe he just put them into play and assumed he'd be able to block with them, and
yeah.
Tommy's saying, "Oh, hold on there, fella." I'm baffled by how it isn't lethal anyway.
Yeah, I don't know how big it is.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 lands in the graveyard. Say 17, 17, Knight of the Reliquary, plus Exalted, 18, 18, plus 6 from the Wolfrun.
So that's
24. He's got
I'm not good math.
24. He's got 4 powers of 4 toughness of blockers in front of it. He's at 19. I don't know what we're still discussing here.
Yeah?
It looks like Tommy is just like picking up his cards. Like Ryan seems unconvinced. Yep, and that is going to do it. Tommy Isaiah is going to take down Game 3 with his Nightfall combo deck, swinging for 24 trample damage there. If you want to go out there, Eric, I'll bring it back to the booth. Eric's going to see if we can find you another match for this round. We've got about 17 minutes, as you can see up on the screen.
I'll have to get a little lucky. Maybe we can get the Gifts and Giving deck if he's still playing.
You could. It's possible he did miss the Exalted trigger, but the thing is, I'm going to swing it back to the booth real quick here for you folks. The thing with mixing the Exalted trigger is that he still had a fetch land in play. So he could just start looping the Knight combo again, unless he had no more lands to get in his deck. Which is possible. He did have 17 lands in his graveyard. It's possible he had no more fetchable plains or forests. I don't think the Nightfall guy scooped. Like that looked like very much like a lethal attack to me. We'll get the full story. No one out there. Can you see who won that match? Because chat thinks it looked like the Nightfall player scooped. But it looked to me like that's what I'm saying. Can you find out? Okay. Thanks, Eric. Right, it looked like that was like he could make that a 25 power. It certainly looked to me like Tommy was like, "No, you're dead," and then started picking up his cards. Is what it looked like to me, but you guys are right that he did pick up his cards first, so like there's a little bit of confusion there. But we sent Eric out, and he's gonna see if we can get the scoop from that game, because it was a little bit ambiguous, and we want you guys to be able to know exactly what happened. In the meanwhile, it is probably about 10 minutes left in probably like 12 minutes left in round 2. We're gonna try to get another game on from you this round, but no promises. Yeah, Bangs. That was sort of my impression of what had happened too. No, you don't need to announce the Exalted trigger. That's a good point as well. Exalted is what's known as an invisible trigger, so you don't need to announce those triggers until they become visible. Correct? So if you attack with an Exalted creature, you don't have to announce the trigger until the point where your opponent takes damage, because that's the point where it starts affecting the game state in a visible way. Right. Cubs fan is correct here. You just have to demonstrate awareness of the trigger at the time where it would be at the time where it affects the game state in a visible way. And the fact that it's not May is not relevant. You can miss not May triggers. It's specifically it's specifically about the fact that it is a trigger that has an invisible effect on the game state, and it is not your responsibility to make sure your opponent is aware of those. Eric is taking a little bit of a long time to get back here. Maybe he's got a game for us? Nope, looks like Ryan is still trying to figure out what happened. As I said during the game, and possibly why Ryan is so confused as to what happened at the end of that game, is like we did not see a retreat to Coralhelm anywhere in game 1 or 2. So it's possible that he wasn't putting his opponent on that card. And he was just putting him on some sort of a Bant value deck. So then when he got killed out of nowhere by a combo he wasn't expecting, That's a difficult pill to swallow, maybe.
The Nightfall player did win. It was a Revelark. He has a Revelark and Linvala on his board. He did not. He boarded out his spell skite because he did not realize it was Nightfall.
Yeah, so that is what I was just saying, is that if you think that's just a banned value deck, you board out your spell skite. It's not that good in that matchup.
So I got a little bit of chance to talk to him, and he was basically saying, like, he thought it was just a banned Coco deck or a banned value deck, so he didn't board as if it was the Nightfall deck.
Right.
So he took out his spell skite, brought in Revelark for a chump blocker, also had Linvala in there because he saw the Knight of the Reliquary.
Right, and that makes sense because Revelark is pretty good in a long, grindy matchup. It's just like one of the best things you could possibly be doing.
Yeah, so that was just kind of like the not realizing he was on the retreat to Coralhelm deck, because this deck hasn't been seen recently, and like that can screw up stuff if you're not aware of what your opponent's doing.
Right. I think I mentioned this in the middle of the commentary during Game 3, is that Ryan didn't see Retreat Game 1 and 2. So if you don't see the card, it's very hard to put your opponent on that
like,
card.
I would have assumed Ban Coco, like, not having information, so like, if you don't expect it, like, I wouldn't have my spell skite either, unless I was like, maybe slightly concerned about Path Exiles, but like, even then, like, if you have Linvala or like Revelark, like, those work just as well.
No, Spellsacker seems like a totally fine cut if you think you're just playing against Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah, we also don't know his 75.
Sure.
So that doesn't help.
So you didn't see anyone out there who looked like they were going into a Game 3?
No.
Okay.
The match is going to be done. Also, he did have a Fiend Hunter, so he was hoping to flip a Fiend Hunter. He also still would have been alive if he hit two. He might have still been alive if he hit two Kitchen Finks, because he could have tapped one down to block.
You were at 19 and the attack was for 24,
26.
Right? 26?
24, and then he could have made 26. But he also could have untapped and tapped one of your Kitchen Finks to block. So, like, the math becomes much more complicated then. But, like, if he would have flipped a Fiend Hunter off that Coco, that would have been insane.
Except he had the Severus.
Oh, he also did have the Severus stuff for protection. So, regardless, it would have been quite a challenge.
Too, because there's the wall of roots. So, like, that's 5.
Yeah.
Like, there's quite a number of them.
There's a lot of ways to absorb stuff.
Anyway, as you see in the chat now, Moobot is reminding you, you can visit all of our great Magic content on MTGCardmarket.com. I mentioned earlier there was an article about the metagame at the Classics and the Invitational by Jeff Hoogland. He writes for MTG Card Market.
We also have Frank Lepore writing for us now.
Do we? When is that? That's
he
pretty
writes,
sweet.
He does some modern stuff. I mean, he does some standard stuff on Thursdays, I believe.
Okay.
So he has been writing for us. There are some articles from him. I'm trying to think of him and Hoogland are the two biggest names I can think of. We have a few other people who write articles and post videos, so there's
if you're looking for great content, check it out. It's a great site. We obviously really enjoy it. We're wearing these shirts, as you can see.
I guess it's technically going the wrong way for chat.
And once again, well, it works either way, dude. Yeah. And once again, I'd like to remind everyone that this Sunday, right, Pauper is going to be starting up.
Yes, this Sunday Pauper starts at 1. There's also a game day on Saturday and Sunday at 1. So if you're in Chicagoland area, aren't going to Milwaukee or don't do great and want to play Standard here on Sunday instead, come down to MTG Card Market. Or if you just really like Pauper.
I really like Pauper.
I don't have a Pauper deck. I might build the Cyclops deck and try to come out here on Sunday because Pauper's funny.
Spend $10 and play Pauper.
If I buy Dazes, though...
Daze is a $3 card.
That's still $10 for just my Dazes.
You don't already have Dazes?
You're
gonna use Daze. Just buy them.
I believe as of right now it is every Sunday.
Every Sunday, I believe it's 7:30. I want to say. Don't quote me on the time.
He said 1, but also might be 7:30. If you follow us on Facebook, there's a posting on the Facebook because he originally thought 7:30, but then said 1 because it's a Sunday and I don't think the store is open that late. We will double check on Facebook now.
I'm gonna go on Facebook right now and tell you guys the. Oh, you guys can see that, huh?
Go to the homepage. But yeah, so it will be on Sundays, every Sunday. So if you're in Chicagoland area and like Pauper, bring up, and you're going to be here for the weekend, just bring a Pauper deck. I don't know what you're on. Scroll all the way over. Wait, which is that screen? Anyways, if you check out the Facebook group, you should be able to find something with it. Oh, that's...
No, Eric, I'm not dumb. I already did that.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's see what it says to double check. Pauper is Sunday at 1, starting May 1st on Weekly Pauper Tournament.
Weekly $10 Pauper Tournament at 1 p.m. on Sundays, every Sunday. apparently it's been pretty well attended.
Yeah, the prizes will be based on attendance, and also no, it is starting this Sunday.
Oh, it said it said the response to Pauper.
Yeah, so they've been talking about it for a while, and the people wanted to do it.
I know that.
They were doing.
I've been the one talking about it.
There have been one-shot Pauper tournaments that have been very well attended. A bunch of people started building Pauper decks. It's a lot of fun. So if you're in Chicago, want to come play Pauper, I believe we're currently like the only real store that I know
You're
that does
the
it.
only store I've ever seen do Pauper tournaments, which is awesome. I might have to break out my Garys, play some
Bring some Garys.
bring some Gray Merchant of Asphodels, because that is my favorite Pauper card.
But yeah,
This card's just absurd.
it is fun.
It's absurd. It's so good, especially because you can play my other favorite Pauper card, which I will put up on stream.
Is it the rats?
There it is. Oh, that's a magic card. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a magic card. And you might be confused by that printing, but someone thought it would be a good idea to print this card at common. Can you imagine that being a common in a modern draft format? That's just absurd.
Oh, the damage.
I've played with Mystical Teachings. I played with Mystical Teachings in Standard.
I'm also like,
With Draining Whelp and Teferi.
yeah. There's also like a lot of variety of Pauper decks you can play that are viable right now. I'm personally a fan of the Cyclops deck because I'm a degenerate and like trying to win before the match is halfway through.
I mean that's part of what's so great about Pauper is like very similar to Legacy. Pauper is a wide open format where if there is a style of Magic that you enjoy playing, you can find a deck to play.
Yeah.
There are really fun sort of grindy control decks where you've got the mono black deck that I like playing. You have the mono blue deck. There's definitely an elves deck, as War Hero points out. So you can find sort of tribal decks. Goblins is a deck. Elves is a deck.
Slivers and loop Chittering Rats.
Slivers is a deck. That's not looping. That's just. I mean, that's not trolling. That's just being awesome. That's just like the way Magic should be played.
Just make your opponent never draw a card. That's like putting Memory Lapse on Isochron Scepter.
Tron's a great deck. Affinity is a great deck. There's just so many things you can do in Pauper. It's very similar to Legacy in that way.
Yeah. And kind of modern, but modern right now has been a little bit...
No, Pauper is way more diverse than
Pauper is
Modern.
way more diverse than Modern.
It's way more diverse than Modern.
That's because you don't have to worry about not dying on turn 4.
Yes, you do.
What turn 4 combo deck is there in Pauper?
It's not a
besides
combo
Infect?
format. It's like there's
I guess there's turn 4 Hyper Aggro.
like
Because Burn's still pretty good, Infect is pretty good.
Pauper is a turn 3/4 format.
Really?
Yes, you are severely underestimating the power of Pauper. It is a power level that
I guess I only watch people play control decks in Pauper. When I watch people stream Pauper, I've only seen people play control decks.
The power level in Pauper is like just a little bit under Legacy, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Because it's just all of the commons, and there are some cards that have been printed at commons that should not have been printed on common. We have one up on stream right now. Like, there's no way this card should have been printed at common.
Also, like, everything in Infect is a common, so you just get to get there.
Although, Invigorate is banned.
But you still can just play, like, modern... In fact, worse.
Right,
Like,
I'm saying that like Invigorate is banned. Although I didn't think that ban was like really. I'm really sort of like dating like my
how long you've been playing Pauper for?
How long my Pauper obsession goes back, because I think that banning happened like 4 years ago or something like that.
Also, Cloud of Fairies is now banned. Cloud of Fairies just got banned recently in Pauper.
Which is reasonable.
Yeah. Well, they're saying, like, Cloud of Fairies shouldn't be it, but yeah, that's gone.
I just can't believe it took them so long to ban.
I forgot High Tides is legal in Pauper.
I can't believe it took them so long to ban Cloud Post.
Like,
Cloud Post is not a card that was okay. Especially because you had, Cloud Post was a heck of a deck.
That's fair. Also, isn't almost any form of Storm banned in Pauper at this point? Because that took long enough?
No.
I thought Brain Freeze was...
Brain Freeze isn't a common.
What was this version of Storm that was banned? Because I thought they had to ban out a Storm card.
They banned the Storm card that bounces permanents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that was like that deck still exists. Like Familiar Storm is still a deck that's like really sweet.
Do you want? Also, we should probably try to find another match soon.
Well, we could do that, or we could talk about how sweet Pauper is.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're here for the modern stream.
That's true.
Grape Shot is banned.
Grape Shot is banned, and that's reasonable.
Right.
I'm gonna head out there, see if I can get someone cool on camera. I noticed on stream in the chat earlier, I'm gonna pen down. Someone had mentioned that they would like to see Infect. I'll see if I can get that on there for you. I don't know that we have one in play.
Is Alex not playing it?
Alex is on Abzan, I think.
Abzan Coco?
No,
Or Abzan midrange?
Abzan midrange.
What happened?
If I had met Coco, I would have said Coco.
But he's played Infect his entire life. Alright, we'll see if there's an Infect. If there is, we'll put him on. Hopefully none of y'all who are standing back here face the person on camera if he's Infect. Otherwise, a little bit of information. But... So yeah, I personally don't like Infect in Modern right now. It is one of the decks I was playing for a significantly long period of time, and then everyone playing Court of Calling and Coco decks came in, and I really hate getting Malired when I'm trying to kill someone with Infect, because suddenly having to do 20 damage when you already are swinging for 10 makes you really, really sad when you have an empty hand. And that happened one too many times, and now I'm playing Coco and joining the rest of the degenerates that are also trying to make it like 25% of the meta. But yeah, I can't quite bring myself to play Lantern Control in an official full-day tournament. Although it is good. Alright. Everyone should just play Jund. According to someone in chat. Jund doesn't seem bad right now. Like, I was kind of harping on it a little bit earlier, but then I remember someone just recently did an article onto why it's not that bad. You can strip a lot of cards from people's hands, which is pretty good. It does get hurt a bit by Ancestor Visions, but I think people are slowly finding out Ancestor Visions might not be the 4 of in every blue deck that people thought it was. It does still get pretty hurt by the Thopter Sword combo, but like Abrupt Decay really helps make it so you can actually kill that, so... the format's kind of wide open, the metagame's still very much shifting and still being like jostled around by the recent unbanning, because like, it hasn't really been a month. Like, look at what's happened in like Standard and Modern, like everything's been shaken up and no one really knows what's going on, so... Now is definitely one of those times where if you're going to a large tournament, play the deck that you are most comfortable on and feel like you can have the least misplays on. And just try to jam that as long as you don't think it's a dog against a lot of the field. So, like, I'm personally pretty comfortable on Coco, which is why I'm running it. Because, like, I was comfortable on, like, if I wasn't comfortable on it, I would still just be trying to jam Infect and just play Dismembers in my main. But, like, you really just gotta try to, like, play something you're comfortable on that is decent, and you should be able to get there fine. Was there Infect?
Nope.
What do we got on?
Ask and ye shall receive. So you wanted to get a deck on camera called Infect. Instead of Infect, we're going to have a deck that's very similar to Infect.
Buggles?
Jund. We are going to have Jund on camera.
Well, we did just have chat say everyone should play Jund. So, War Hero will get his wish.
Yep. These are the pairings that I've got in front of me, so we're going to go down to the booth overlay. We're gonna go to Alejandro Younger, and he is playing on he is on Jund this evening.
Who is it?
Alejandro Younger.
Oh, okay.
Who used to be an Infect player, by the way.
Why is all the Infect players going to mid-range?
Just not
the tier.
This tournament. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. He's a Jund player and an Infect player. He's just playing the Jund this time.
Yeah.
As I said, very, very similar decks.
Do we have anyone out there on Kiki Court?
I didn't see anyone.
Shay is not playing.
I'm not playing. But I will be playing Kiki Court on Saturday, and I'm super psyched.
So anyone who faces us will probably... We just need to, like, tell chat we're playing one thing and then just jump in with another deck on something.
No, I don't min-max. I don't min-max my life like that.
Just go entirely opposite. Also, like, it's hard to, like, know what hand to keep versus Kiki Court, because you have, like, different play starts. I should just
I don't know what the thing you just said meant.
Words are... You have different starts where, like, you can go super fast with birds where, like, Bolt is good, or you can go turn 2 Wall of Omens. And suddenly your bolts are sad. So we're in the undefeated bracket?
We are in the
Sweet.
undefeated bracket.
Do we know what the Jund player's opponent is?
Let's see. So he is playing Oh, where is he? He's playing. Oh, Tommy's going to be back on stream. That's the person we just had.
So we're just following Nightfall?
I guess we're just following Nightfall.
Alright, guys, we are kind of accidentally following around Nightfall.
I kind of apologize for that. That's not typically what we like to do. But we did ask Alejandro to be on stream, and that is what we're going to show. It's worth noting that some of the other players at the top who we also could have put on have also already been on stream, like Carter is 2-0.
Yeah, but we could have put on Alex anyways.
We could have, but I didn't
It's okay.
know he was on 2-0. We're going to be doing this. You know, Tommy's... What? Yeah. Well...
Do it.
This is what's happening.
We're going to see Jund versus Nighthall, so get some hype.
Nightfall is a sweet deck. Although, from a personal sort of selfish standpoint, I'm, like, not happy that I'm going to have to keep track of all those life changes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think we can just put his life total as a question mark until he's done comboing.
War Hero, yes, that is exactly what it is. It is retreat to Coral Helm. And look at Tommy even sitting in the exact same spot. Also,
he knew what was going on.
Yeah. This is also round 3, which we're going to get up there for you in a second, so we make sure we know what's going on. That is just... Okay. Just very mature chat tonight.
For a family-friendly show.
We are a family-friendly stream. We are a family-friendly store. You know, we're just kind of friendly. And like we said, he's on Jund. What do you think of this matchup, Eric?
It's gonna be interesting because Abrupt Decay is pretty good if he does it in response to the first untap and doesn't have another way to untap the Knight of the Reliquary. So like Alejandro just has a lot of removal that can kill the Knight of the Reliquary before it can ever go off. He can also blow up the retreat to Coral Helm with the Abrupt Decay, which is also very relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a lot of ways for the Jund player to disrupt, as Jund is good at doing.
Yeah.
So I would say, without knowing too much about the Nightfall's matchups, this to me looks like a positive matchup for Jund, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Here's a card I've been seeing in Modern Jund occasionally. What do you think?
I think it's fine in Standard Jund.
I've been seeing it in Modern lists in the dailies. Sort of like Bob number 5-6.
I guess I can see that in the sideboard versus control decks, except for it doesn't hurt you.
It's like a reverse Bob.
Yeah, I don't like it because it's a 3-mana 3/2, but it does have a very strong ability.
It's got Menace. It's got 2 pretty strong abilities.
Yeah, but okay. I just don't know what deck I'd ever want to bring it in against, because so many decks just... I guess if your opponent isn't playing red, it'll survive a bit longer, but it just seems really slow.
Yep, I like I said, I don't play Jund. This is like... Jund is pretty much the antithesis to everything I want to be doing in a game of Magic.
Well, at least someone in chat is agreeing with me.
But I like I said, I don't know, but I have been seeing this in daily lists that have been doing well.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see if it was ever sideboarded in, though.
No, like in the main deck.
Oh, in the main deck?
Like as Bob 5 or 6.
That seems really bad. I guess, like, if you're trying to beat other card advantage, but that still seems really bad.
Like I said, I've been seeing it. I don't know if it's good.
Well, maybe Alejandro's running, we'll get to see.
War Hero has strong opinions on Sin Broader, as does Cubs fan.
Yeah. Well, they seem to be so far. All three, Cubs fan, Dark Horse, and War Hero, all agree that it's not great. I definitely think it's fine in Standard. I just think the power level for 3-drops in Jund is so high.
Like what? Liliana? Like that's the only 3-drop
Liliana, Kolagon's Command, Maelstrom Pulse,
Maelstrom's Command, and Maelstrom's
2-drop
Pulse
plus Thoughtseize, Tarmogoyf Thoughtseize, Tarmogoyf Bolt.
Like, those aren't 3-drops. Those are just...
They're what you spend your 3 mana on. I think you have so many better options for 3 mana. I'd rather be playing Kitchen Finks for 2 green over this guy.
Alright. Anyway.
Or you,
like
can play
I said,
you can play new Liliana.
Something to keep in mind. You don't play new Liliana.
Not Liliana, new Olivia, I was going to say.
Oh, okay. I think that's also bad.
So
Dark Confidant. The classic Jund 2-drop.
Sin Prodder original.
Good old Bob Marr. Cubs fan, you're just filled with negativity and hate tonight. Usually you're more positive than this.
Oh, I totally agree, War Hero. Old Olympia is significantly better than the new one.
That's what you're a fan of.
Manners, we just had Abs and Coco on.
Watch the chat, guys. I mean, watch the caps locks in chat. Mubot is very zealous. And there you go. Hey, Banoka, thanks for the follow. It's our first follow of the night. Usually we have a lot more follows than that. It's been very slow tonight. You hate bad cards. Then you will not get along with me because I love bad cards. Anyway.
I do like Bear Cub, though. Alright, so Bob into the Knight of the Reliquary already down. So if he has the retreat, he can just go off if it's not dead. It looks like it's going to be dead.
It's going to be dead. I believe that...
That is an abrupt decay.
I'm going to go into 16. I believe that Alejandro flipped that the Raging Ravine off of the Bob.
I can actually think I can build this Nightfall deck now that the price of Knight of the Reliquary dropped.
Alright.
But, yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why I considered it favorable earlier for the jump players. You just never let him untap his Knight of the Reliquary.
Bob flips being...
Also, Bob flips hitting land is always sweet.
Bob flips being kind to Alejandro. Looks like we've got a lightning bolt in hand here. Bunch of lands. Not like a great hand, but Bob... It appears that Tommy has no... outs to Bob at the moment, though he is cracking here. I wonder what we might see a Coco. Oh,
also,
duh! Well, he has 4 mana. What could he possibly be playing here?
Well, weren't you the one who said to me last week he has 4 mana and nothing
He's
to do?
just very
Or 2 weeks ago.
unlucky. Very unlucky. 5 cards in hand.
Also, really quick too, just something from chat. You cannot normally actually let the Coco players, let the Nightfall player start going off because he holds 1 fetch land back. And then can just go back, untap his creature.
To your
removal. What's more about this, he can just untap his guy after declaring an attack and then get the protection spell. So there's a land Sajiri step that gives the creature protection.
Spicy. That's a pretty good collected company.
That is a stupid good collected company.
That's going to be like 9 power of attackers for 4 mana. Lightning Bolt's going to... Well, Brumaz is a 3/4, right? We're just going to double bolt it?
Koligon's command?
We can't be done here. Did he not know?
Did he not read it was a 3/4?
Yeah, I don't see another damage spell in his hand, so that was a bit of an odd lightning bolt to me.
Oops.
All spells. Yeah, looks like...
Yeah, he just didn't read that it was a 3/4. He just thought it was a 3/3.
Alright, let's keep the personal hatred... Oh, maybe it blocked. It blocked the Bob.
Okay.
That makes a lot more sense. I didn't even see the Bob attack.
Doesn't Tommy have a 1/1 then?
Tommy should have a 1/1. But it's trigger. He has to remember it.
That's fair.
Tarmogoyf, 3/4 Tarmogoyf, as you see our die on the screen, denoting the power and toughness. Pass it back. I agree, War Hero. For me, Collected Company reads pay 4 mana, look at the bottom 6 cards of your library.
For me, it reads pay 4 mana combo.
Tarmogoyf pretty good against Geist.
Yeah, 3/4 blocker's pretty good.
One of the ways to beat Geist is Saint Trap. We're just going to have another
Coco?
Collected Company here. No, that's a...
Oh!
That's a hell of a magic card.
When both people behind the desk just go, oh!
Elspeth, that's the Knight Errant.
It's the Knight Errant. This is one that just makes his Geist fly.
This is going to allow him to take the Geist to the sky. It gets +1/+1, right?
It gets +3/+3 in flying, so that's still 9 damage.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get in for 9 here.
Isn't this the taste it?
Where's my mouse? There it is.
I missed this, Elspeth. This is really cool.
That is a swing, ladies and gentlemen. Angel Token is of course going to be exiled there.
Oh, actually, Chad just pointed this out from Stefan H. The 1/1 has to block, so if he does 1 damage to the token, 1 damage to the Brim as then
He can
pulse it.
still burn it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So that makes more sense.
We'll assume that he made the correct play instead of a
Also,
mistrigger.
yeah, 10 damage because Exalted.
Exalted.
Thank you, Chat.
Because it will trigger when the Geist attacks.
Yes. That is exactly half his life. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it turns out that Geist of Saint Treft is still like a pretty good Magic card.
And he just fetched him. I believe he's at 9 now.
Yep.
So a flying Geist is pretty good. Well, just put some Grit Spoon on it.
So what are Alejandro's outs here? Maelstrom Pulse the Elspeth? Abrupt Decay the Angel token?
Yeah.
Like, that just feels so bad.
He has to have a way to kill the Elspeth. Does he have a sorcery? No, because he needs to find a way that actually kills the Elspeth.
So if he has a sorcery removal spell for... But then he's still just taking 6.
Yeah, now he's going down to 8. Oh, he does have the...
Maelstrom Pulse?
No, he has the Raging Ravine.
Oh, so he can kill the Elspeth.
Well, he can block the Noble Hierarch. Which is the problem.
Right, because there's still only instant land creature in the graveyard. Looks like Tommy's hand is just lands.
If he has Bolt's Culligan's Command?
He has... Oh, he can get a sorcery. He's got an Inquisition in hand.
So you just have to hope Tommy doesn't block?
This doesn't seem like a great attack to me.
Well, like, his only out here is Tommy not blocking. So if that's your only out anyways, may as well hope he misses it.
Yeah, looks like Tommy's just going to let it die.
Nope, deciding to block. Oh, he does have Damnation.
Yeah.
He could have had Damnation. But I think at that point his out was to hoping Tommy didn't block and just let it die.
Yeah,
Do Gen players normally run Damnation main board?
it was very popular... It's going to be up...
That's game, yeah.
It was very popular during the Eldrazi meta for the black-green X decks to run 2 Damnation or so in the main board. I don't know what the configuration has become in the current meta.
Yeah, that Elspeth was sweet that game.
They might have cut their Damnations for Sin Prodders. You know?
No. Okay, so I imagine he did have at least one. He probably has 2 total in his 75s.
Man, wouldn't it be cool if you could play Toxic Deluge in Modern?
That would be terrible.
That would be great. You just don't like it because you play all the decks that lose to that card.
I do not, and Notch would love that.
Yeah, it's also not very good against Lantern Control.
Yeah. So he doesn't have to play to my super degenerate decks instead of just my kind of degenerate decks.
Yep.
Seems like he's boarding out the bolts because the bolts hit like none of Tommy's creatures.
So we're at 1-1 right now, right? Oh no,
It's
we're at
0-1.
0-1. And once again, Alejandro did not see...
Pulling out the Damnations for Sin Prodders.
Once again, Alejandro, just like the opponent last round, did not see retreat.
Yeah. Tommy just looked like a Bant Coco deck.
Yeah. Although, like, if
You don't board out Abrupt Decays anyways, and Abrupt Decay is the main card.
I see 2 foil Damnations in Alejandro's sideboard, so he
The
does
Damnations were in the sideboard.
he does in fact have Damnation. It just I don't think is in the main deck.
I also don't think it was cut for Sin Prodder.
Well, That's true.
What about Omnixilus? Is the 5-mana Planeswalker too slow for Jun's sideboard?
Yes.
Even for grindy matchups?
Yes.
Okay.
There are just so many better options, right?
Like, what do you bring in for grindy matchups?
Like,
Or what do you have in your board for
even
grindy
something like
matchups?
Courser of Krufix is probably better than,
That's fair.
like... Yeah. I just think... It's not that 5 mana is too much for a Planeswalker in Modern, though it's close. It's that Planeswalker in particular doesn't do enough.
I also wouldn't actually hit the board until turn 5, because I know, like, Kiki Chords are running Nahiris, but, like, they do it on turn 3, so that's entirely different.
Yeah, also Nahiri just does better things than Obnixilis.
It does fairly similar. Plus ability is card draw. Minus ability is destroy something.
No, it's Exile, which is better.
That's fair.
And it's Exile, which is better, and its ultimate ability is super easy to get to, whereas Obnixilis is not.
The actual question: which is the better sideboard card, Omnixilus or Sin Prodder?
Yes. Well, Obnixilis is a mythic, so it has to be better, right?
Yeah, that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Do we just default to the mythic check?
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
So Tybalt's better too, right?
Tybalt is one of the better cards ever printed, and you will not talk poorly about him. Anyway, so we're shuffling up for game 2 here, as we did see that Tommy Isaiah did take it down. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Looks like Isaiah. But if you are Alejandro in this spot, do you put your opponent on the retreat? Because I think I would, but that's
I don't think I would, purely because the Nightfall deck very much was a flash in the pan deck. It saw a lot of play for like a month, then kind of fell off the radar. But a bunch of people, like Bant Coco, is the more known deck.
Sam is working tonight, so he's not actually in the tournament.
Yeah.
Sam is also an employee of the shop, and sometimes he has to accept money in exchange for doing things as opposed to playing Magic cards.
That's fair. But yeah, so like, I unless he had already seen what Tommy's doing, I would put him on Bant Coco, because that's this deck that I see more commonly.
I don't know that I've seen Bant Coco as a deck that people frequently play in Modern. I think I've seen the Nightfall deck way more.
But when you see someone Coco into Geist Brimaz,
right? But that's what's so like appealing about Nightfall as a combo is
the other thing is
trade-off,
he might actually only be running to retreat to Coral Helms.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say, is that the trade-off, the cost of putting that combo in your deck is so low.
Yeah.
It's like 2 to 4 cards to have that combo in your deck, and otherwise you're just a value deck. All right. Looks like we're gonna take
We
a
should
mulligan.
probably take Omnixilus off the screen.
No.
As we were talking about like really bad sideboard cards.
No, that's a main board card in Modern. That is a Simon Cameral main board card.
That's fair.
As we see, we are going to see a mulligan from Tommy Isaiah's side. Looks like we're just going to tap on the top instead of cutting it. Lands, retreat. Did not see the 4th card. Collected
Okay.
Company is a pretty good one. We're going to get our Scry.
It's like he's psychic. Why he didn't see the 4th card?
Yeah, well. Anyway, it's going to go to the bottom. Probably a land, because this looks like a...
Well, Alejandro has a Kalidas there.
We're going to see exactly what's in there. Retreat.
To the camera.
Look at that. What a good
Is that a
guy.
Kitchen Finks? Definitely just... Do you take the Coco or the... Well, now he knows he's on retreat, so he has both those cards in hand.
Yeah, if he didn't know he was on Coco before, he certainly knows... I mean, if he didn't know he was on retreat before, he certainly knows now.
What do you take from this hand? I guess it also... We can't see how much removal Alejandro has in his hand right now.
The only options, as far as I am concerned, are the Knight and the Collected Company.
We do see Alejandro flickering a Damnation.
So that makes the Knight less of an issue. I think I might just take the 2 for 1 here.
Take the Coco?
Yeah.
That would still be my guess, because he does at least have a Damnation to remove it.
And that is, in fact, what he takes.
Yeah. How many lands does he have in his hand? Does he have 4 lands and then the vampire dude?
He's got a
That's
Damnation
a Slaughter
and a Slaughter
Pact.
Pact in hand
Yeah.
that was just drawn. Looks like we're going to have Verdant Catacombs. Another Thoughtseize. This will probably take probably the night. Could take the Kitchen Finks because that's more annoying against Damnation. Yep, Kitchen Finks it is. And that should signal to Tommy that Alejandro has some sort of answer like Damnation for his night.
Also, it also just shows that he has removal, because clearly he's not playing Path. So, like, you don't really want to terminate a Kitchen Finks.
Right.
But yeah, it does definitely show that his night is not safe, and probably will not be safe for a little bit.
We're here. I don't think I would take Retreat.
I think at that point, Retreat doesn't do anything when he has enough removal to keep neither Reliquary off
Right.
the board.
Especially because he had Slaughter Pact when he played that card. Like, Slaughter Pact is a pretty good...
Yeah, if he
Answer
does have a
there.
third discard spell, I would probably take the Retreat before the Neither Reliquary, though.
That's possibly... Like I said, I actually expected him to take the Kitchen Finks, and that's what he did do, because that's the card that is most problematic for his removal spells.
Yeah.
We're going to shock... we're going to
Fetch.
fetch down to 15 here. Imagine we'll probably get a Stomping Ground, unless we got Liliana in hand. Liliana would be... looks like we didn't have the land in that... I hate when my opponents do that in tournaments. They only like take half of their deck, and then they can't find the land they want.
Well, if they have the land, though, it goes faster.
Alright, so we do want the double black, probably signifying perhaps Liliana in hand.
Also, I think just, like...
Double black is just better than double red anyway,
Yeah.
for sure.
Is there a double red spell in the Jund deck?
Sometimes they play Anger of the Gods,
That's fair.
but probably he doesn't if he has got Damnation. Also, sometimes it's relevant to play 2 Lightning Bolts in a turn, or terminating a Lightning Bolt in a turn.
That's fair. Also, we had the other Blood Crypt.
Right.
So what's in his hand right now? Is it just
He's
Slaughter
got
Pact? He has
Damnation,
Pact and
Slaughter
some
Pact.
lands.
He's got Damnation, Slaughter Pact, Kalitas, and a Forest. So none of the things you said.
What? I said some lands.
He's got 1 land
Oh, okay.
and 3 spells.
You're correct. I was close.
Both teams tried hard.
Alejandro stepping away from the table. Possible judge question. Oh, he might have been asking the interaction between Kalitas and Damnation.
That's possible. I don't know that you would play your Kalitas before playing Damnation.
Depends on what you see.
And it might be worthwhile here to just Damnation away that night before any funny business can happen.
He can also play Kalitas, though, and when he casts the other thing,
Kalitas is playing...
Yeah.
He is playing Kalitas. I don't... That's an interesting choice.
it's probably going to be in response to the retreat to Coral Helm Slaughter Pact it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Or he might be doing it right away.
Looks like that is in the line.
Making
Not
sure,
even going to let him untap with it.
making sure he has no protection. Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good thing.
Well,
So
there's
he
no
untaps-
reason. There's no reason to let him get value with it.
Also, if he untaps, he can get a Sajiri step and protect it.
That's true.
So then he can just go land into the Coral Helm combo,
Yep.
and then that's really, really bad.
Looks like maybe another knight was the draw for Tommy.
Is that an Elspeth in his hand now?
No, actually, it was a Geist was the draw for the turn. And looks like
Oh, it's
we've
a Ghost
got a
Quarter.
Ghost Quarter, which is
Not an Elspeth.
not like super good against Jund. It's fine against their manlands, but they do run a lot of basics.
Yep.
Cubs fan, if they're running, typically what I've seen is you run either Pia or Kalitas, not both.
I think most decks have been going for Kalitas just because the presence of the Coco deck. Just because it counters the Abzan Coco.
Oh, don't get me wrong. P and K is a
Is that
very
another Slaughter Pact?
no. He drew Maelstrom. He does have another Slaughter Pact, but he drew Maelstrom Pulse for the turn.
And he has Damnation.
Yeah, this is a pretty commanding position here. Looks like we're gonna get in for.
3 lifelink and 2 with the zombie.
Yep. So 5 coming across to Tommy, and we're gonna have Alejandro go up to 18.
Oh, so he can actually Slaughter Pact the Angel and then block the Geist.
Yeah, that is a line available to him.
I wonder if that's his plan.
It's pretty good, actually. Retreat not great on this board, which is part of why I favor taking the knight because. Did we just look at the top of the library? Why are we doing that?
Landfall Scry.
Landfall Scry. Okay.
Let's see if that is what he does.
All right.
Or if he's just going to take 6.
Looks like he's just going to take 6. I think he's just racing pretty good here.
Oh, do you stack the token or exile the token?
It's exile.
Okay. I don't remember if Kalidas is non-token permanence. Can we pull up Kalidas' text?
Yeah, let's pull up Cletus for the chat.
So if a non-token creature would die, so he wouldn't even get the zombie from slaughter pacting it because it is a non-token
It's a
creature
token.
dies.
Well, no, because he could block the. Oh, it's you control. No, because you could block the Geist. The Geist would die.
Ah,
Looks like he's going to eat the token.
swing for 5 lifelink.
Well, before we get in that, looks like we're. Okay, so attackers have been declared. Tommy's going to sacrifice a fetch land. He's going to go down to 12.
Is he
Perhaps we're
untapping
going to
the
see a
Geist?
path to exile here. No, untapping the Geist doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's in play tapped. Oh, maybe, I bet you he's just pathing here and he's shortcutting it. In which case, dropping it on the ground. No, he's just fetching. He's just taking. Looks like he's just taking 5 lifelink here. So, oops, he's at 12 and he's at 17. 117 and
Casual. Dropping to 7.
Yep. Cletus wins races.
Kalidas is a very good card.
That Geist is probably untapped. Looks like Alejandro has a lot of options here.
I think the reason why he just went straight into combat.
Okay. So that's going to take. We didn't get an angel token coming into play.
I think because he was just swinging, he didn't bother with it.
Well, that's a trigger. You have to remember it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what just happened.
I guess he didn't swing yet. Oh no, he swung and then he untapped it.
With Coral Helm. Okay.
Yes, he played a land and untapped it.
There we go. Got it. That card has text.
He tapped Kalidas with Coral Helm from the last fetch. That's what he did.
Oh,
with
is that
fetch.
what happened? Okay, that makes sense. So actually, our life totals are very wrong. So we've got 6 for that guy, and still 12 for. So it looks like Kalidas is going to get tapped down again. Yeah, that is what happened. We missed that. I forgot that Retreat has text when it's not comboing off.
There's a Damnation.
And that is going to force the Damnation here.
So he will net a 2/2 zombie.
Well, so Tommy could have counterspells in his deck at this point. And in fact, that should have been exiled from the start. Kalidas should also be. Oh, it's just opponent. Kalidas just opponent.
Yep. It's also just very hard to remember all the effects of net.
Well, so
Coral Helm.
Tommy is not visually making any cues that we can follow. He must be just verbalizing all of his triggers. So it's they're pointing out in the chat. It is difficult for us here in the booth to follow some of what is going on. Looks like we just get a smiter coming into play here.
Yep, and it looks like he had a scry.
Looks like we've got a bob in hand for Alejandro, which is super scary right now.
When he's at 6.
His plan might be to play the bob and then double block with it and the token. Nope.
Pulse it.
Just gonna pulse
And then swing for 2.
and get in there. It's been an interesting game. Okay, let's keep the violence talk in the chat to a minimum. That's actually not cool. We need to recognize that there is a difference between things that are actually really bad and someone tapping lands in a way you don't like. And one of those is not deserving of violence.
Also, it looks like he's tapping down the token. Is he?
It looks
Is he
like
ghost courting his
it
own
looks like he's
lands?
ghost courting his own land, but he's got a fetch land in play.
Nope, he's just taking
He's
two.
just taking the 2. Okay.
And Tommy has no cards in hand, I believe.
So that's his second swing with the token, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, it's hard to know if our life totals are correct because
There's been a lot
of
tap
triggers that were not.
That's a Liliana,
Yeah, it's not like super good right now.
but it allows him to always have a sacrifice outlet.
But
Because he has a Thoughtseize he doesn't need in his hand. So then it at least turns into 2 Diabolic Edicts.
what? I mean, it's fine. Oh, you mean for Geist? Well,
Yeah.
It's pretty embarrassing against this collected company. Is that an Eternal Witness?
Eternal Witnessing Coco seems good.
Geist does Geist just end the game here? Because I think the only removal in his hand is sorcery speed.
Doesn't he have a Slaughter Pack still?
Oh, he does have a slaughter pack still, so he has to slaughter pack the angel token.
He also has a Bob he can play as a blocker.
No, this was on his end step.
I thought it was I thought it was during combat.
I thought it was on the end step. I could be mistaken, but I would have done it on the end step.
I have no idea. This game has been a little confusing for all of us, it seems.
Well, I assume that at the very least the players are communicating well with each other verbally. The
Yeah.
thing is, like, for us, it's
Oh,
very...
he just got to Eternal Witness and recast the Coco.
Okay.
So this is probably just game then.
There's a Pride Mage and a Birds. Not, like, the
But
best...
that wasn't a suit, yeah.
Not the best hit you can get off of Collected Company.
It does make Geist a 3/3 when he swings with it, though.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty relevant because now Alejandro can't just play Bob and block.
Well, he can. He just has to chump.
Yeah, but then he's still taking 4 in the air.
No, you just attack with... Like, it's irrelevant. You're not attacking Exalted. You're just attacking with all of your creatures. And he actually looks like he's blocking with the Birds. So you were right. That was in combat. So 9, not 7.
Do you have to do Liliana down tick anyways here?
Well, like, what does that accomplish? I think Alejandro's just dead.
Well, if you go Liliana down tick Bob and still have Slaughter Pact, because I think he still has a Slaughter Pact in his hand, doesn't he?
He does still have the Slaughter Pact. The thing is, like, even if you play Bob and Slaughter Pact, you're still dead.
Yeah, because I guess you have to not nug yourself on Bob.
Well, no, you're chumping with Bob. It's just he still has 6 damage with the angel and one of the creatures getting through.
Well, no, I was saying use
on-
Liliana to down tick on him, block his Geist with the Bob, and then Slaughter Pact the angel token. Only 2 gets through.
Then you only take 2? Yeah, that makes sense. That might be the line.
But that's worse if he just swings. I think if he's representing that, though, Tommy could just swing with Geist and be fine.
Yep.
So this is a very bad spot for
This is
Alejandro.
a critical turn right here. We're gonna go down to 5. It's like Alejandro has decided he needs all of his mana this turn. Which, if he's taking the
casting-
line that you suggest, that's what he's gonna need to do.
I think that's the main line he has with his hand. Because I think that's his only out, is taking 2 and hope he doesn't nug himself on Bob. Although, it would be kind of funny to me if he nugs himself with like a kitchen finks or something for exactly 3.
Vaxel, I think it's Vaxel. Oh, he does.
Oh,
he
he has a
does
Ghost
have
Quarter.
Ghost Quarter. He can just tap down the Bob if he sees that line. And it looked like he was toying with that line earlier.
I think he was toying with how he was going to tap his mana and what to leave up.
All right, so we do have Bob Liliana. Liliana's going to go down.
Sack something.
I think you probably sack the Eternal Witness here.
Yeah.
Gonna go to the yard.
Because now if he remembers the Ghost Quarter play, he can Ghost Quarter tap
He can
something
tap down the Bob, and that is lethal.
Yeah.
Well,
Or-
he didn't Slaughter Pact, so he still does have Slaughter Pact for the Angel token. Oh,
he just played the natural land.
right. Alejandro's still not dead though.
But if Alejandro Slaughter Packs, he doesn't have anything he can draw to get him out of it.
That's not true.
Well, no, because now
He's got
Tommy
lots
has
of things.
He needs to get rid of the board though, because Tommy has two landfall triggers now.
Right.
So you have to slaughter pack that, go to 1. You still have to survive your Bob flip.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, he's going to go to 1. Probably about 50-50 to die here.
Yeah.
He does have a
more
lot.
than
He does have a
50-50.
lot of lands still left in the deck. He only has 5 in play.
Yeah. But I think even if he doesn't flip a land, he's still just dead next
Okay,
turn.
so we're going to stack the triggers. Slaughter pack on the top, looks like. Flip to Bob, and we are dead.
Flip the Kalidas.
And so Tommy Azaya is going to go to 3-0. Is going to take down that one. Defeat the Jund player. That was very well navigated by Tommy.
Yeah, that's also like a different way to use Nightfall than we saw in the last match where
Right.
he used it.
He didn't combo at all.
He just used it to tap down blockers and out mid-range the mid-range deck.
Yep.
Because he got some scries in there, and I imagine those scries were pretty helpful for him. So it got him to all the pieces he needed faster. That was a really sick Coco chain of playing Coco into Eternal Winston to the second Coco.
His Coco in game 1 was very good too. Into Brimaz Geist, and actually what we saw that match was Geist is still a pretty good Magic card.
Yeah. Geist is still pretty powerful. Coco, everyone knows is powerful, but that really showed it. You gonna go check on another match?
We're gonna see if we get someone else on camera. We've probably got 20 minutes left in the round.
Yep. So we're gonna try to get someone else on camera. That was a pretty cool match. We got to kind of really see what the deck got to do. I'm gonna put this back in the booth. Hopefully this is back in the booth. Yeah. So we got this back in the booth. So yeah, we got to pretty well see what that Knight deck does. Let's see. But yeah, so that really kind of shows you the power of what Retreat to Coral Helm can do. Now, like, I obviously won't jam in any deck, but like in a deck with Knight of the Reliquary, that's already banned, like it's not that hard to play 1 or 2. If I get a chance next time I go out there, I'm going to ask him how many he's playing in a 75, because I don't imagine it's more than 3. I can't imagine it's 4. He could be likely playing 3 or 2, because like as we saw in the previous games that we got to watch him play, he doesn't actually need to win. When you're playing that deck, you can just win by casting Coco or just naturally casting Geist at turn 2 off mana acceleration and just do a bunch of damage. If you could, did you find someone?
Nope.
No. Can you ask him how many Knight of the Retreat to Coral Helms he's actually running?
Yeah, I can do that.
Because I'd be really curious to know how many he's like, how much all in on the combo is he actually? Because I'd be guessing he's only running a few. But yeah, we did kind of get to see the power of Kalidas. Kalidas was definitely outshone by the Retreat to Coral Helm, where it kept tapping him down. But like, if he would have been able to get in with that Kalidas, he would have had a lot of life gain. Because after he killed the one guy and sacked the zombie token to it, it was a 5/6 life linker, and that can really help swing games back to a more winnable place. So yeah, if you guys are just joining us, as a reminder, we got game day down here this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 1 p.m. We also will now have Pauper tournaments starting May 1st, and will be weekly on Sundays at 1 p.m. So if you enjoy Pauper and you're in the Chicagoland area, come out and play. There's a lot of hype for it. Before Modern, we were out there practicing for this weekend in Milwaukee. I saw at least 4 people playtesting Pauper because, hey, it's starting soon, and they were having fun with it, so I definitely expect that to take off quite well here.
The answer to the question, how many retreats are you running, is, and I quote, "Ooh baby, 4. It's the best card in the deck. It's the best card in many decks." So
Okay,
there is your answer, Twitch chat. The full 4 copies of
I
Retreat.
was wrong then.
Yep.
By
It seems-
numerical quantities that we were seeing, I was assuming only 2 or 3, but he was running Oh Baby 4 because it's the best card in the deck.
It's the best card in many decks.
But yeah, that's interesting. It evidently is working for him because he is now 3-0.
Yep.
Who else do we have?
Like we were saying, the strength of the deck is that it's just a pretty reasonable collected company deck.
Yeah.
You don't have the strength of the Malira decks in that your collected company can find all your combo pieces.
No, but it finds 8 damage at least.
But as aside from the combo finish, finding Loxodon Smiter, Geist of Saint Traft is pretty good.
Yeah, like it looked like he had Brimaz, Loxodon Smiter,
Just all of the
Geist,
overpowered
Knight of the
3-drops.
Yeah. I wonder if he has Rocks War Monks for the burn matchup.
I somehow doubt it.
That card's wonderful. It's a 3-mana. It's
He's
a
got
3/4
kitchen
lifelink.
finks.
Oh, he does. Okay, he does have kitchen finks. He's on the lamer.
It's a 3/4 lifelink has been called. Is that card even in his colors?
Yeah, it's banned. Rock's
banned?
Warmonk is 1 blue, 1 white, 1 green to cast.
The deck should run Rafika the Many.
No, because it doesn't get hit by Coco.
I know.
Granted, doing that on a Rock's Warmonk is pretty sweet to give double strike. And +1/+1. That's a 4/5 double strike lifelinker.
What gives double strike?
Doesn't Rafika the Many give double strike to
Oh, that's
the
what we were
exalted
still
creature?
talking about. I had moved on from that. I had moved on with my life, and you two need to move on with your life from your weird
Wait, you
Rafik of
two?
the Many.
Who's
You
the
as
other one?
you as well
Oh, okay.
need to move on from your life with and your weird Rafik of the Many obsession.
I've never played Rafika the Many in attack.
Eric, all night has just been telling me how much he loves Rafik of the Many and it's his favorite card. That's none of this is true.
Coming soon in Banton Fest.
This is what happens when someone refuses to go on camera and I sit here talking nonsense.
Oh, they're just saying, like, I refuse to go on camera. I'm like, I can't.
Go on camera right now.
Go on camera
Eric.
right now. Just grab a deck and play.
Just dance.
Your dance is better than mine.
Twitch chat, you can vote for who has a better dance. It was me. The spoiler alert is that it was
Can we
me.
repost that crocodile link?
Here's me dancing.
No, that's not the right one.
Oh.
That's the extended deck.
Well,
This
Guys-
is one of the reasons why he was dancing, but
that's not the dancing alligator that I was trying to post. That's instead the link to the mono white
Belcher deck.
Goblin Charbelcher deck with 4 illegal cards in
from
it.
extended.
I don't. Maybe.
Previously, there was a link posted from the alligator from the Peter Pan animated cartoon dance.
Yep.
And that was what we were hoping was on copy paste, but actually if we scroll up there, it might be on there because it got spammed.
No. He.
Oh, we let through, so it's
Pretty
okay.
sure he messaged it to me. Maybe
Sad.
not. This is ultimately irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
No. Get out. Get out right now.
But animal puns.
Yeah. So, why don't you go right for Star City? Just all the slobber and mile drivers of the world. You know, those are my favorite. Those are my favorite ones. The Star City Games puns, where it's just like an absurd reach.
I actually have, it might be on me, I have a pin from the Grim Llamamancer.
See, Grim Llamamancer is fine. Grim Llamamancer like sounds like a reasonable pun that someone might think of. But slobber and mile driver. Yep, there's
If you go to some of the events, they have pins.
yeah, they're game nights. But
yeah, I have a Llamamancer pin.
again, but we're talking about the puns here. The
That's
puns, Eric, not the pins.
It's close enough. It's
Anyway,
only one letter off.
Capile TV with the follow. Thanks. Welcome to MTG Card Market's Wednesday Night Modern here at MTG Card Market. Shockingly enough, we are
Shocker.
located off the red and brown line stop Belmont in Chicago, Illinois. And if you are in the area ever, you should come on down. Come play Modern on Wednesdays, Legacy on Thursdays.
Popper on Sundays.
Pauper on Sundays is the exciting thing that we're talking about right now. 1 o'clock on Sundays every week. Pauper here at MTG Card Market.
Also, game days this weekend, if you're not in Milwaukee. Also, for those of you who will be in Milwaukee, me and Shay will both be going, so stop by, say hi.
Feel free to come up to me and do your best impression of my dance. And
Actually, I really hope people do that to you in the match. Just go behind someone.
I promise that I will probably just walk away from you. Is the thing.
I really wish we could make this a thing. Just have people like walk by you in like the middle of your matches and start dancing like that as they walk past.
Yep.
I would appreciate that.
That sounds like something that you probably shouldn't do because it's not the kind of behavior that most
It might be a
Magic
little
turn-
distracting, but
Well, if you remember, that guy got like a 6-month ban for like taking photos and
that's
behind
different
people.
though, because we're not like blatantly making fun of anyone or giving people problems. I guess we're blatantly making fun of people a little bit, but like it's not. We're not doing anything against someone's consent.
I demand a witch hunt, and I will not be satisfied
Like-
until justice is served. Anyway,
I'm not sure how many of you guys follow Frank Lepore, but well, he's one of the writers for MTG Card Market, so this is actually kind of relevant. He was at a recent tournament and he took a judge's Sharpie and didn't give it back. So at the next tournament, since the guy was the head judge of the tournament, he kept having all the floor judges put Sharpies in Frank Lepore's stuff. And with notes from this guy.
Okay.
So like people do mess with each other at some of these large tournaments sometimes, but
Okay.
it helps if you're official or well known.
So some of the moving on to something like a little bit more Magic related than Sharpies and Frank Lepore.
Frank Lepore's Magic related.
Okay. Some of the big news at the last Pro Tour was, I mean, there was obviously the big elephant in the room that blew up all over Twitter.
But that also got resolved already.
It got resolved, and I would like to say a kudos to Wizards and Helen Bergeau, who's always been sort of very much standing up for the players for doing the right thing. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. The other news that sort of got buried in all of this was there are no more Modern Pro Tours. How do you feel about that?
Well, two things. Because the other news that got kind of lower buried in that is the World Magic Cup is going to be Team Unified Modern.
I didn't see that.
That was at the bottom of it. The 2017 World Cup is Team Unified Modern, which looks awesome.
That's sweet.
I want to see how that goes, but also, like...
That's a format I'd like to play.
So, I understand why they're doing it. It personally doesn't bother me that much. I agree with Standard, it being good that it's Standard, especially with now it not being boring with the 2-month rotation. Yes, am I sad that Modern won't be at Pro Tours? Yeah, because I enjoy Modern. It's definitely my favorite format, but at the same point, like, they're still going to be supporting Modern GPs. What's most important to me, actually, is the fact that the Pro Tour qualifier season leading up into that, the PPTQs and the RPTQs are going to still have a Modern season. So even though the Pro Tour won't be Modern, the RPTQs and PPTQs leading up to one of the seasons will be Modern. So it's similar to that. It's just when you actually get to the Pro Tour, it won't be Modern.
Sure.
And like
that sort of mirrors my thoughts quite a bit in that I totally understand it, right?
Yeah.
Like, part of the reason that Modern has been so tumultuous and so ban happy and so sort of like format sculpting on Wizards' part in the last year or so is that they've needed to do that. Because you can't just have the Pro Tour be, okay, people are going to show up, play the same decks, and there's nothing different about it. So I understand it from that perspective. I also understand it from the marketing perspective, right?
And
You
also,
want
like,
the Pro Tour. Pro Tours exist because they sell Magic cards, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's why they do the Pro Tour. And
ultimately, like, in general, Modern's not going to be irrelevant. They're still hosting GPs where it's the main
right,
event of it.
I don't think anyone thinks that
Yeah.
Modern is going to become irrelevant. I think that people are upset that they don't get sweet Modern content. I know that's...
I still think everyone's getting sweet Modern content, though. It's just not going to be at the Pro Tour. And let's be realistic. How sweet was the Modern content at the last Pro Tour? Oh, this person's playing Eldrazi.
Okay.
I know that's like off.
They
not
broke
with
the
point,
format.
but
Like, that's not... But
I feel like it's
going to
be something you're going. So, if you look at this Pro Tour, and it's going to be kind of happening a lot. This one was a little bit less exciting because it's unknown format. But when you have a known format like Modern, and this is part of the reason why they didn't want to do it at the Pro Tour, I don't find Pro Tours to be good Modern. I didn't find Pro Tours to be a good example of Modern because it's like, all right, this team of Channel Fireball is like 10 people. They're going to all be on the same deck because that's what they do for the Pro Tour is you pick one deck you think is the best and then you tune it. So, like, you're even not getting all that exciting of matchups like you would at a GP, where, like, there's less...
I'm going to disagree with that. Because, actually, in the Modern format, like, the teams typically aren't all on the same deck. Very rarely...
I guess it was different because of the Eldrazi.
Very rarely does everyone on the team play the same deck. I think at the last Pro Tour... Even at the last Pro Tour, there were 2 people on the team who were not on the deck. Despite the fact that it was broken in half.
That's
like
fair,
you had Paul Cheon was not on the deck, and I think Paulo Vito Damarosa was not on the deck.
I guess what my more point is though is like GPs, you get. I feel like the GP field is more varied for what you're actually going to see in Modern. So like I'd rather watch GP coverage for Modern because I think there'd be a lot more variety. Like Zach Elsnick's Lantern Control deck when that came out and was being played on the GP, that was awesome. Like yeah, it kind of did suck to watch a little bit because like
No,
it was a little
it
boring,
didn't.
but,
It was
like,
great.
I really enjoyed it, but I know a lot
I
of people
told
who
you it's
don't.
Magic at its finest. It's the purest form of Magic is making it so your opponent can't do anything.
But like you don't see as many decks like that I think at a Pro Tour level because people aren't really willing to take that risk on a format like Modern where there's a lot of stuff to know about unless you find something absurd like Eldrazi. Whereas like Standard now there's so much more new things.
Again, I don't think that's true. Like if you look at say the last the Modern Pro Tour 2 Pro Tours ago, like the MTG Mint card team came out of nowhere with Blue Moon, a deck that had never been seen before.
So I would say Modern was more in flux back then, though. Like
Why?
that was still more at the beginning of Modern's inception, and
no,
there was
it wasn't.
a lot of,
That was like right
that
after
was
the
3 years.
That was right after the pod banning.
But wasn't that also 3 years?
No, it was. There's a Modern Pro Tour every year.
No. I mean 3 years after the inception of Modern.
Right, but like Modern was a real format a year ago. It was a real stable
I agree with
format
that.
a year ago.
But what I'm saying is like as you get more and more years down the line, so like 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, like look at like a Legacy Pro Tour. Like yeah, it would be cool to have a Legacy Pro Tour.
Well, the problem with the Legacy Pro Tour is just like card availability, right? Like
yeah.
it's
but-
unreasonable. It's unreasonable to ask people who have only been playing for a year or whatever when they qualify to the Pro Tour.
But what I'm more saying is like if you're at like hold like a Legacy Pro Tour event or something like that, where like it's a format that's been around for ages. A lot of the decks are known. Like it's
I
not
think
going to
that
be.
would be amazing.
I think it would be
From
cool.
a coverage perspective, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty problematic from a card availability, fairness to the competitor's standpoint.
I agree with that, but what I'm more saying is when I watch the Pro Tour, I like watching the innovation of like what goes on, and I feel like in Standard after like 3 weeks, there's a lot more innovation that can be had. Like I thought it was really cool.
Certainly, Standard innovation is fun. This last Pro Tour, and it's such a shame that it kind of got overshadowed by that whole announcement. And
Yeah, well,
this was one of perhaps my favorite Pro Tours of all time to watch. I don't know how much of the coverage you watched.
I watched a decent amount. Also, I think my favorite thing about this Pro Tour was how many cards that were $1 or less are suddenly $10.
Well, that's just kind of how it
Like
goes.
that was funny. Like Crypto with Light Rights when it came out, everyone's like, "This card is trash."
I
And
may or may not have been trying to brew with that card way before.
But then you
that
had this
deck
black
was
green
played.
sacrifice deck that LSV was running, and suddenly it goes from like bulk to a $10 card.
Yeah.
And like that's really cool because you see like all these cards where people are like, oh, I'm trying to get this to work, and suddenly like someone figures out the insane
Yeah.
deck, and that's cool to me. Like one of my favorite things about Magic, and I feel like a lot of people are like this that aren't unless they're like grinding and they're trying to play the best deck, but I think a lot of people like seeing innovation and like seeing strange stuff. Like there's a lot of brewers in Magic, and I feel like for a Pro Tour, Standard is a better format to watch for brewers.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just really like Modern. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
agree
go
with that.
outside, see if I can find us a match.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? I know a lot of you guys are still. We haven't seen much comments from chat about that, but I know like honestly, I am sad that like there's not going to be that Modern coverage. But for me, like I still enjoy watching the Standard Pro Tours unless there's a bunch of Siege Rhinos running around. But like at the same point, like I like watching the innovation. I really enjoy watching Modern GPs also, seeing some of the pros play decks and like watching all the lines of play that I don't even see. Like that's why it's really fun to watch like Jeff Hoogland when he's on Kiki Core, just because of how many absurd amounts of plays that deck has and all the different things you can cord for. And sometimes you see him running 63 cards in the main with a 12-card sideboard. So there's like a lot of different cool things you can see on the Magic coverage. And of course, when you see like even like us doing it here at like the store level when we're streaming here, like we get to see a lot of funny stuff on camera where it's like we get to watch like the Knight of the Reliquary deck go off in like 3 different ways. We get to watch it Coco into the Geissa's Draft and the Luxodon Smite or the whatever the kitty cat is. Or you get to watch it actually go off with the retreat during the combo, or you get to watch it use the retreat just as a value engine. So like there's still a lot of stuff to go on in Modern and a lot of different card interactions, and that's one of the reasons why we do this and of course why you guys tune in. So we're gonna see what match we have on next, because the match should be starting soon seeing as our clock ran out. Although we do have some people playing some very hard control decks, so it's not unheard of that we're going to time or going to rounds. Because there are definitely people who like playing it a little bit slower. I know sometimes I run Lantern Control here, and that really slows everything down because it's hard to win fast on that deck.
Okay, so here's the situation with rounds for matches for next round. We've got one match still going on in turns right now. As far as our camera's doing some funky things. As far as next round is concerned, we are going to see what the pairings end up being because we're going to try to get a 3-0 match on camera. But I would very much prefer not to put Tommy on camera for the 3rd round in a row. So
That's fair.
we're going to see. There's currently 4 undefeated players. So we're going to pick whichever is the undefeated match that does not include Tommy, because
Giving you guys something new.
right, we don't want to put the same deck on camera 3 rounds in a row. I'm hoping we can get Kyle Fouché on camera. He's 3-0 with Grixis Delver.
Ooh! I haven't seen Delver actually in a while.
There's been Delver's a real deck again. Kolaghan's Command is good again.
Yeah. It's amazing what becomes a real deck once Eldrazi gets banned.
Right. This mouse situation is it's really bumming me out. There it is.
I think it just goes silent.
Well, we've had a very a low viewership night. We must be boring tonight.
Or Hoogland or someone streaming.
All right, I hear Sherwin screaming.
Next round pairing should be going up soon.
He's telling people to drop because he doesn't want to repair the round, which, as a judge, I can tell you is something you want people to do. Don't ever drop after the round's been paired, folks. Friendly neighborhood judge announcement from Shay.
Don't make your judges sad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you actually are an L1 now, aren't you?
I've been an L1 for
Okay.
like a year now.
Shay is an L1. I will be testing for my L1 soon. So there, when me and Shay go, there will be 2 judges behind here instead of 1 judge and 1 person who likes to think he knows what he's talking about. So yeah, we'll get to see what we have on. I hope we are able to get the Grixis Delver player on, but we're going to try to get one of the undefeated matches that is not the same guy who we've been watching. But if you did you've been hearing us talk about the Nightfall deck, if you do want to watch that, with the stuff gets posted on Twitch as soon as we're done, you can watch the previous streams, or it should be going up on our YouTube channel, which is linked on the little screen right there. You can kind of see where I'm pointing. Right there, you got the YouTube link and our Facebook. So if you haven't already followed us, please follow us. And also check out our Facebook page, like it, keep it following us for upcoming information. If you're in Chicagoland area, that's where we post all the information about the store. If you've already found that, you would know that for the umpteenth time we've mentioning it. We have Pauper coming up on Sundays from now on. If you want to see anyone stream Pauper, make some noise, make everyone know about it, and we might be able to get some people streaming that, because I know me and Shay would be really excited for that, because Pauper's sweet. And also, if you guys are in the area, come play. Oh, hi, Texas Ranger. We actually mentioned you earlier that I haven't seen you around recently, though Shay has. We've been matched up. We've seen Nightfall twice. We've seen Nightfall versus Jund, and Nightfall versus Abs and Coco, and Nightfall won both times. And round 1, I'm failing to remember the original round 1 matchup, but we also got to see the third game of Gifts Ungiven Tron versus Merfolk. So we got some stuff with that, and we're planning on putting one of the 3-0 matchups that does not involve the Nightfall player, not because we don't like him, because those were quite awesome games, just because we want to show you guys something new. Although, as you have kind of seen from our games, there are a lot of Coco decks, which I expect to be the case come basically any modern tournament for a while, because that card is one of the best 2-for-1s you have right now. You can just get 2 really decent-sized creatures with some of the absurd 3-drops in Modern, and only for 1 card at 4 mana, which is that instant speed. So if you have multiple things to do, you cast at end of their turn, untap, do stuff on your turn. I like the card, that's why I'm playing Abs and Coco right now myself. Nightfall, I should really go back over this. Nightfall is the Knight of the Reliquary Retreat to Coralhelm combo. It's called Nightfall because it's Knight of the Reliquary and Landfall. You basically go off by doing it every time you get a land, untap Knight of the Reliquary, keep going till you get a really huge one. You can get fetches, float some mana, and then you should have 1 Stomping Ground in there to go off with Kessig Wolf Run. So you get a really huge trampler that kind of pushes through all your opponent's stuff.
And you can tap down their things.
And you can tap down their stuff, because now the Reliquary has that mode also.
And you can give it protection from their colors. We're going to get Justin Howe. He is on... we're going to go to the booth. Justin Howe is on the right. Now let's fix our life totals here. All right, guys, just getting the Texas Ranger. What's up? Looks like I'm just getting the stream updated for you guys. I knew we had someone clamoring in the chat earlier for gifts. We're gonna get that up on the stream for you. Justin Howe, not doing great in this tournament, but a very good Magic player nonetheless.
Ooh, we got the 4-color gift stack on.
Yep, I don't know what his opponent is. Matthew Cartier is playing, but assuredly something sweet.
We told him if he wins one game, we'll put him on, and then suddenly he wins 3, so we have to put him on.
We had someone in the stream wanting 4-color gifts, and there's oftentimes people want a certain deck, and we can't give it to them. Excuse me. So when people want something in the chat and I can give it to them, I like to do that.
And it looks like Grixis Delver was going to be facing the Nightfall deck.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I was going to put Kyle Fouché on there, but I don't want to give Tommy Isaiah, who is crushing this tournament, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't want to give Nightfall to you 3 rounds in a row when there's so many sweet things in Modern that we could be showing you.
Kyle tends to come here regularly, so if you want it, if you're here when we start next weekend, remind us, and we'll try to put him on to begin with.
Yep. I see a Steam Vents in Matt's hand, so he's some flavor of blue-red deck. Maybe America Control?
Storm?
No, it's not Storm.
Desolate Lighthouse?
Desolate Lighthouse is not a Storm card. I would think
Cryptic
that this
Command?
is like an American Thopter Sword sort of deck.
Seems likely.
Justin's on a mold of 6, it looks like. That's going to stay on top. Start on a Colonnade and pass it back. Draw for the turn. He kept a Windswept Heath on top of his deck. It's going to be his land. Oh, he's just going to play the Watery Grave and pass it back. That makes sense.
It's going to be quite an interesting control matchup.
Spell Snare is the draw for the turn for Matt. And I think it's at the point where I'm willing to call this American Control.
Yep. Oh, actually, no. I think I was talking to Matthew earlier. I believe he's running Kiki Control.
Okay, well, we'll go with American Control until we get some sort of evidence of Kiki Jikis, but that would be sweet.
Yeah, I believe I was talking to him, and he is running. If I'm thinking of the right person, I believe he's running Kiki Jiki Resto Angel.
Sure. I'm gonna fetch down to 19 here for Justin, not 10. That would be a
Which
heck
would
of a
make more
fetch
sense
land.
for why he's running the Loot House, because it helps you dig for a little bit of the combo.
The fact that he is running the card selection card does sort of suggest, and I see a Wall of Omens in hand, and that's a card you typically run with Restoration Angel. That's not a Wall of Omens. That's a Path to Exile. Excuse me.
Spell Snare and the Sylvan Caryatid, pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way that American Control has to deal with that card pre-board. I'm gonna pass it back to Justin, who's gonna draw for the turn.
What would you be holding up at 3 mana? Oh, just Remand Bolt or something?
Electrolyze anything.
Oh yeah, it could be Electrolyze.
Vendilion Click is another card I would be thinking about if I were in Justin's shoes. All right, looks like a Lingering Souls is the play for Justin.
Lingering Souls is
Pretty good card in this matchup.
Yeah. Doesn't even have to play the flash it back until a little bit later.
Looks like we do see a Restoration Angel. So I'm pretty willing to call this Kiki American Kiki combo at this point.
Yeah, because we've seen the resto now. It should be Kiki Control.
Right, because it just happens to have the Kiki Jiki. Yeah. And then we're going to go Shock Land down to 18.
The clear signal of I'm holding up Resto Angel or Cryptic Command.
Yeah. Looks like the Spirit's just going to get in. He's actually holding up both, as it so turns out. And looks like Justin doesn't want any piece of that, just going to pass it back. And Matt is going to be able to use his mana with the Restoration Angel. He's going to untap, draw a card.
No path from Justin there, sadly, for him.
Didn't quite catch that. Looks like a Lightning Helix off the top for Matt. Not like super good in this matchup, but, you know.
Yeah.
This could turn into a race. Looks like we've got a Flooded Strand. This is play for Matt. Just going to pass it back. Now, this is a situation that does favor Matt, where he's able to play at the end of Justin's turn at instant speed.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of the Kiki Flash decks, although I don't know if he's running as many Vendilion Clicks or... He's probably still running the 4 Snapcasters, but I don't know if he's running the same number of Vendilion Clicks as that deck used to run, because he's running the Kikis instead.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't play the Lighthouse there.
That's gotta get Cryptic Commanded.
Oh, yeah. This is a very good Cryptic Command. And it is going to eat the Mana Leak.
Oh, that's really good.
It's brutal. Restoration Angel. Token's going to get in.
So if you're Matt, you basically have to Lightning Helix at Liliana, don't you?
Actually, my apologies. Matthew is at 14 because he did take a hit from those tokens last turn.
Yep. So he has to Lightning Helix at Liliana, basically, doesn't he?
I think you're kind of priced into doing that. It also depends on what he draws, obviously.
Yeah, if he has a Electrolyze, you obviously do that instead.
Yep.
Actually, I don't even know about that, because you could also Electrolyze the tokens. We'll see what he draws and what he plays.
I think electrolyzing the Liliana is.
You can just do Liliana one token.
Is way better than both tokens.
So, question, just because I'm trying to remember how this works. If you Electrolyze 2 to Justin, can you redirect 1 to Liliana and 1 to him or not?
Yes. Because the Planeswalker is not a second target. Like, you can just choose to redirect damage to...
I didn't think you could split damage like that, though.
Perhaps I'm wrong. I would have to look it up. But
regardless,
no, I'm pretty sure you can, because, like, it's the damage being done to the player, and then you can choose to redirect the damage.
I thought you had to redirect all damage or nothing, though.
I don't think that's true.
I will double check this at some point. Anyways, regardless, he just decided to swing at the Colonnade, which was also a very good option there that we kind of missed.
It might be fine to just sort of get in there with a Tar Pit here. Although we do see Path to Exile still in Matt's hand. But I think that Matt... I think that Justin's, like, just fine with that exchange.
Yeah, especially when we know he's on Gifts Ungiven. So, like, getting a pathing his land means he can't path any reanimated target later.
Right. We do see still a Path and a Lightning Helix in hand for Matt. But these Lingering Souls have done work. They've gotten in there for 6.
Yeah. So Texas Ranger thinks you can split.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. You were confusing me with the multiple targets thing. It's not a targeting thing. You can choose to redirect any amount of damage that you would deal to a Planeswalker.
I thought it had to be in the hunks of how you're targeting it. Like, if you bolt someone, you can't redirect only 2 damage.
No, it's not... Like, you're not targeting the Planeswalker with the damage.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Like, you deal the damage to the player, and then you can choose to redirect any amount of that damage to a Planeswalker. Like, you don't actually target... When colloquially, we have come to see, like, I'm targeting your Planeswalker with my burn spell. That's not actually how it works.
Yeah, you target the player and you redirect. But, like, if you bolt a Liliana too, you have to redirect the entire 3.
Oh, you're right. I'm not actually sure how that works. I would have to look at it.
But, like, if you have, like...
But Electrolyze...
If you have something like deal 1 damage, you could deal 1 damage to 1... That's why it's more on the wording of Electrolyze.
It is, you're right. It's more on the wording of Electrolyze. Caryatid, pretty good. Justin seems in pretty firm control of this game.
Yeah. So I wonder, because he's playing Restoration Angels Kiki, does he run less Wraths in the main, or does he run Anger of the Gods instead of Wraths?
Well, most of these decks, the American control decks... Right. That is actually correct. The Texas Ranger, the thing is that there's only one target. The player. But anyway. Most of these American control decks have been cutting down on Wraths in the main.
That makes sense.
Looks like we're going to get a Lightning Helix. What was that Path to Exile?
He's
trying to
Colonnade.
block with Colonnade. So we're going to go up to 11.
And I assume he Helix the token.
Right. That's why there's
So
3
is he
on board.
taking 2 then? Oh,
He-
no,
he took-
that was during his attack step. So he...
Oh, he was trying to attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so he actually is at 10. That's pretty
Did
good.
he just hardcast Elish Nord?
He, no. I think he must have he totally a hardcast Elishnorn.
That is ridiculous. That just swung for 6.
That's game.
That is also one thing the Gifts deck can do in the control matchup. When the game goes long, sometimes you just can hardcast your reanimated fatties. Let's pull up an Electrolyze text really quick, because we keep talking about this.
It's not on the text of Electrolyze. It's like whether it matters that it's a single target. Because, like...
if we go out there at all, I'll ask Sherwin about it. Sherwin is the local judge. Him and Daniel Dwan.
Not just local judge.
He is the
L2.
L2.
He is a L2.
Yes, he is an L2 of the area. He judges a lot of events here. He judges a lot of events in general all over
He'll be judging
Chicago
at
area.
Grand Prix Milwaukee if you see him.
Oh, so if you see Sherwin, say hi. If he's not in the middle of doing stuff important.
Alright, so I see a Wrath. I see an Elspeth. I see some Stony Silences there. None of those are particularly good.
Elspeth does Wrath any reanimator.
Looks like he is thinking about Elspeth.
He saw the Elspeth, and Elspeth, if you're going late game,
You
he
pro-
can untap and wrath the reanimated targets.
Do you think you want counterflux here?
I think he really wants Counterflux, because when they get into Counter Wars, Counterflux says no.
Looks like he's just gonna be boarding out some of his lightning bolt type effects. I didn't see counterflux come in.
Did he have Counterflux in his board?
I saw one.
Huh. Maybe he just figures negates better.
I would kind of favor. I guess you have to keep the paths in because you saw Elishnorn.
Yeah. I personally like Counterflux just because when you're getting into blue deck counter wars, like it's really important to be able to just say I win this counter war no matter what you cast.
Yeah, I think you actually can't split it because it's one target.
That's what I think.
Like you can split it from a damage source. You have to like, yeah.
Okay. So I was okay. So we definitely had that correct.
Well, we kind of had it both ways several times over the course of the conversation. So
Yeah.
I don't know that if it's technically correct to say that we got it correct.
We ended up with the correct answer in the end.
It's the second Elishnorn victory we've seen on camera tonight.
Yeah. Do you want to pull up Elishnorn instead of Kalidas?
I don't know.
It is the second Elishnorn from two different Gifts Ungiven decks.
Yeah. Doing completely different things.
Yeah. Elishnorn.
It almost worked. It's L-Esh Norn. There she blows. LSV.
Yeah.
Justin, of course, engaging in my favorite practice of pile shuffling. The most useless of all Magic player.
Well, post sideboarding, I'm okay with it for people to count their deck.
Yeah, that's true. You do get one, but it's just as effective to pile shuffle in two piles to do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's more fun to move your hands around the mat because you're a wizard.
Also, you know what's more effective than counting your deck?
Counting your sideboard.
Counting your sideboard. Which I do.
But what if you're Jeff Lubining it up and are running 12 cards in your sideboard?
Then you know that you have 12 cards in your
That's
sideboard.
Yeah. I also like pile shuffling when I actually know I have a clump of lands in there from something. Like, theoretically, it shouldn't matter, but
if your pile shuffling has an effect of breaking up land clumps, then you're cheating.
Well, I do it as the first one and then shuffle.
Right, but then you don't need the pile
Yeah.
shuffle. Like,
It's force of habit.
it doesn't...
Realistically, if you're shuffling thoroughly, it doesn't actually do anything, but it's also a nice peace of mind. It's definitely a placebo
Your
effect.
peace of mind is not worth making the tournament run longer.
I have never ran... I don't do it with lantern control. I do it when I'm running Infect anyway, or Coco anyway, so I'm not going to be going to time.
And the problem is pervasive in the Magic community. Justin's going to take another mulligan here. It worked out for him last time.
Yeah?
Looks like Matthew's pretty satisfied with the 7 he's got. He's talking to someone. Probably making some dinner plans, maybe.
10:45.
I haven't eaten dinner
You might be
yet.
saying goodbye to someone. Wait, I thought you went to go get food.
What?
Did you go get food
No.
earlier? You said you were going to.
Yeah, but I lied. I smoked
Okay.
a cigarette instead. Because that's like food to me. It's the same answer, Texas Rager. This is an issue with how colloquially we've come to view targeting planeswalkers. Like, we point a lightning bolt at Liliana, and we're targeting Liliana. That's not actually what's going on.
Yeah.
What's going on is you're targeting the player, and then redirecting the damage to Liliana.
Yeah. I actually had this be relevant earlier when we were trying to figure this out because my opponent had a Titanfall, and I had 3 planeswalkers, and he had a Titanfall, and copied it with goggles in standard. And it was how can he break this up to hit planeswalkers, and he actually wound up not being able to hit all 3 planeswalkers because he has to target a creature and a player. So he targets a creature and a player twice, but he can only redirect 2 of those player targets to a planeswalker. So there's no way for him to hit all 3 planeswalkers. So it's one of those weird things with redirect, and for Electrolyze it's an all or nothing. You either do 2 damage to a player and then redirect that 2 damage to a single planeswalker. Also, correct. If you have a land that's taking play, they cannot burn your planeswalkers.
They also can't resolve Gifts Ungiven, as we mentioned
Yes.
earlier tonight.
That's a really funny thing about Gifts Ungiven, because it must have a target player. I've seen a lot of
It
people
must have
misplay
a
that.
target
It
opponent.
must have a target opponent. I've seen a lot of people misplay that. I don't actually know that, if he can redirect his own Earthquake to a Planeswalker.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't think
That's
you
not
can
a
because it's an
question I've
opponent
ever.
option.
That's not ever a question I've been asked before. Anyway, back to the game. Justin's going to go down to 19 with the life totals here.
Did Justin miss a land drop? No.
No.
It says lands on top of each other.
Yep. Maybe he did miss. No, because he's got.
Oh, this
two.
was during his fetch?
Yeah. This is exactly what we were talking about earlier. He's responding to the fetch land activation so that he can resolve a Vendilion Click. Well, Justin does not have Mana Leak mana up.
Yes. Doing stuff during your opponent's fetches is very relevant.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how maybe this is a play that Magic players don't make as much as they should. 2 mana is a very relevant number for Justin.
Yeah. Also, if he has Dispels, it could even matter with that.
All right, so Vendilion Click is going to take the Liliana. Justin's going to untap, going to take a draw step. It's going to be a forest for the turn.
Vendilion Click's a very relevant clock right now that Justin has to deal with, though. If he has a Lingering Souls, that's one way to deal with it.
Yeah.
But nope.
Vendilion Click is an interesting one against Justin because on the one hand, you do really like the effect that it's bringing to the party. On the other hand, that card is embarrassing against Lingering Souls.
Yeah, but you're realistically playing it for more of the 3/1 body effect.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's the 3/1 body is embarrassing against Lingering Souls.
Yeah.
But the effect itself and blinking it is pretty good.
There's a Resto Angel.
Speaking of cards that are not embarrassing against Lingering Souls, I believe that is the Textless Negate.
Yep, that is the Texas Negate and a Tastiger. And is that a Batterskull?
That is a Batterskull. We've got a Tasker, Batterskull, 3 lands, and a Negate in hand for Justin.
So Justin looked like
I imagine we're taking the Batterskull. Yep, that is the part of the hand that is...
Justin looked like he originally planned for the slow game, but Matthew decided to go really fast with the 2 flash.
Yeah, this is a quick clock. I didn't see quite what the draw there was for Justin. Just going to cast Inquisition. Now we get to see what's going on in Matt's hand.
Snare, I can't see what that last card is. Snapcaster and Resto Angel.
Yep, it's an Electrolyze.
Oh.
The card we were talking about.
Yeah.
So, worthwhile to note here that Matt did go ahead and Restoration Angel his Vendilion Click on his own turn to not let Justin untap.
Yeah, they are both playing around counterspells as best they can.
Yep. Did Matt see Snapcaster Mages from Justin in Game 1?
I do not believe Justin drew a Snapcaster Mage.
I don't know.
So I don't think so.
I guess you can kind of put him on them.
He's playing blue,
Yeah.
and he's playing a Gibson Given deck.
Because I just think that Spell Snare is like a little bit awkward in this matchup.
It hits a lot. It hits any counterspell. It also hits Sylvan Caryatid.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah. It does hit the counterspells and the Caryatids.
And he's just going to keep blinking that Vendilion Click. That click is doing a lot of work this game.
Yep. Justin's hands 3 lands and a negate. Island. So this is a lethal swing here with the Electrolyze that is in Matt's hand, and we'll probably see him fire that off.
But Justin does have a negate.
Right.
But he just scooped
But
anyways.
he's got to counter the Electrolyze and then somehow deal with 3 power flyers. It's not likely to happen.
Because I don't imagine Justin would ever bring in Damnation in this matchup.
Right.
Which would be basically his only out there.
Sure. So it looks like we are going to go to get that evening game. We're going to go to game 3, deciding game of the match.
Matthew definitely switched gears and decided in that game he was the aggro player.
Oh.
But he also had a lot of disruption with the swing Vendilion Click and then blink it and keep tearing apart Justin's hand.
Little typo there on Matt's record. It is, of course, not round 5, so he is 1 and 2, not 1 and 3.
Yeah, the chat is correct. He didn't have to choose to take the Tasker because Tasker didn't do much when all his damage was flyers.
Yeah, I that's reasonable.
But Justin was getting towards reactivation mana, so depending on what he put in the graveyard.
But
it
if
could help.
Justin's spending his turn casting Tasigur and activating Tasigur, you're
Yeah,
like
you're still basically
really
winning.
happy about that. That's not
Yeah.
a winning line. I think I agree with chat that I would not have taken the Tasigur there.
Yeah, I would agree with that also.
Looks like Kiki's came out for game 2.
Yeah, he probably just bored him off for all the control.
He's got 2 Kikis in his board. Justin hasn't seen Kiki yet, but this seems like a very difficult matchup to win with Kiki Jiki.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the matchup where you need to go for the combo. This seems like the matchup where you need to put a threat and then counter everything.
It's very much like Splinter Twin in the old modern format, where you wouldn't try to win the mono removal matchup with combo. You just try to win it with cards like Jace, Architect of Thought, and Keranos.
Because also Justin has showed black, so like he definitely has removal. He should have paths somewhere, and like tapping 5 mana to get countered or get it removed is really, really bad.
Yeah. Yep. So looks like our stream may have frozen a bit there.
Oh, we definitely have frozen up a little bit.
All right, let's see. 1 second.
Our clock is still going though. It's just
It's the camera.
Can you guys still see
they
and what can they hear? I was seeing if they could hear us.
The booth camera's gonna work. It's the camera.
Should I put it to booth while you're doing this then?
What?
Should I put it to booth?
No, because we want to be able to see if the camera starts working again.
Fair point. Alright, we are trying to solve these technical difficulties. We apologize for the slight delay in the game. Hopefully no one stepped on the cord.
Working?
Nope.
Okay.
Do you want to go out there and check the actual physical camera? Also, this thing got knocked weirdly. I need to pull everything back up.
This happens like every week. Not do anything?
Nope, it is still quite frozen.
Okay. Excellent.
Alright, we are trying to resolve these technical difficulties. So it's just the camera.
All right.